This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Buddy, are you ready for this?
I mean, my goodness. Absolutely, I'm ready for it, Crudy, right on time. As always, happy Monday, my dear friend. What would you possibly like to talk about today?
Well, buddy, you're out there in the open on Brady Street. I'm hiding out in the broadcast bunker, as I often do. Momentarily, let's acknowledge our friend at the friends at the Ward FM, this community volunteer radio station, Madison, Wisconsin. Subject to some violence over the weekend, Dom, and as you heard Stu talk about during the news break, not a random act of violence. We do have an update on this story, Dom. I'm going to share some of this briefly with the audience. Bill Novak. This has gone on to be a national story. I saw it at the CNN. I am quoting from the Wisconsin State Journal. A shooting at a Madison radio station on Sunday was not an act of violence against the media, according to police detectives. It was probably a targeted shooting. A disc jockey at Ward FM was shot in the backside. He got shot in the arse by a masked gunman who opened fire at about 3 a.m. Sunday in the studio as 3 volunteer radio hosts scrambled for cover. The shooter has not been found. Police officer David Dexheimer said Monday morning the shooting has drawn national media attention because of the foment over the press being labeled as enemy of the people. Here's a quote. "We understand and appreciate the interest in this case beyond the local level, but do not believe it has any relation to the current national dialogue on the media." He said detectives working the case are becoming confident that the shooting was not a random act of violence against the media. Indications are this is a targeted act against a specific person or persons. Well, I don't know exactly what that means, Tom, but apparently not random, not shot at simply because they were doing community radio that, you know, probably I suspect in Madison, Wisconsin. I didn't hear the shift, Tom, but I suspect that this might be something that, you know, quite frankly, I'm sorry, I actually just got tweeted by the lady from there. I'm going to tweet her back and see if she can join us on the air right now.
Yeah, that'd be great. You're listening to the Devil's Advocates on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, talking about our friends over at WORT in Madison. 3 o'clock Sunday morning, someone walked in and started shooting the place up. And when you posted this, Crudy, on our Facebook page, of course, we got lots of traffic on it. And some of the comments, you know, were referring to, you know, this hatred and this anger that's being riled up by Donald Trump among those on the right, that this perhaps could be, you know, a result of that angst. And thankfully, I guess thankfully, that's not the case. And you never want a shooting, but certainly from a social standpoint, a targeted shooting versus, you know, just shooting people at the media who might be lefty media, that's apparently not the case. And the shooter is unfortunately still at large. And, you know, we'll update people as facts become more known.
Well, that is scary, Dom. We're kind of in this industry, and I know we find ourselves feeling a little bit vulnerable out there on Brady Street, and that's why I leave you.
Where are you at today, Crudy?
I'm in the broadcast bunker, Dom. I'm in the broadcast bunker.
You know, normally on your side of the bed here in the studio, you're closer to the big bay window. You're gonna take some of those shotgun blasts. But again, we just slightly.
Hey.
It's certainly terrible, and hopefully this perpetrator will be found. I mean, come on, shooting people up at 3 o'clock in the morning at a community radio station? What?
Now, I did reach out to Molly Stentz with that organization, with Wards, and hopefully, I mean, Twitter is not the most efficient way to try and book, but I have reached out via Twitter And she said, "Do you still need me?" And I said, "How about now?" So keep
Right
an eye on the
now.
phones there, Dom.
Hitting the airwaves in 1975, Logan Roarge writing in the Wisconsin State Journal, WART is a nonprofit radio station that relies on hundreds of volunteers to host music programs, produce shows, report on local news, and perform other tasks. As Crudy mentioned, the shooter is still at large. Madison Police Department Violent Crime Unit is investigating. Anyone with information, please call Madison Area Crime Stoppers at 608-266-6014, 266-6014.
You know, when Norman Stockwell was over there, Norm, I believe the publisher at the Progressive now, helped me out a number of times, Tom. Specifically, I think there was a Fighting Bob Fest that Norm gave me some chords. You know, when we came over from the other place, we weren't as always well prepared. You know,
Tech
they
savvy, perhaps.
Well, it wasn't the lack of tech savvy. It was someone else packed the gear for us and would send us on the road. So when Gary packed the gear with the, you know, the extra gremlins, I think Norm bailed me out one time. But we like the folks at Ward. I hear they have a big event coming up like a week, Dom. They've got a gubernatorial debate. But I'm not going to promote that right now.
Right. Vote next Tuesday.
Is it next Tuesday, Dom?
A week
Is
from
that
tomorrow.
true?
That is true.
Election Day's a week from tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. Have you decided, Dom?
I have not.
Do you know what is Aleppo yet?
Who's Aleppo? Al?
Buddy, let's talk about, you know, ironically, I got a little email in the inbox today. We'll soon be making some announcements about expanded. I mean, you know, I don't want to give away all our secrets, Tom, like my location or exactly what I'm talking about, but we're going to have some big announcements coming very soon. Specifically, I think on our big show tomorrow, we're going to talk about the expanded Resistance Radio lineup. And people should be very excited.
Programming updates, Cody? Excellent.
Multiple programming updates.
With the super coolest radio station ever, lots of people want to be on the air, right? Lots of people want to get access to the airwaves and promote their messages, right?
That we're right on Brady Street, so we're close to the bars. So, you know, it's a win-win, Dom.
But not everybody who wants to get on the radio, Crudy, gets to get on the radio. Just
Well,
because you ask doesn't mean you say yes.
Well, I was going to point out, Tom, I have gotten a very recent solicitation. What do they call this group? Where is it? No, it's not the National Association of Broadcasters, but it is the group that represents Alex Jones. Wondering how I would feel about putting them on the big airwaves, Tom. Apparently, here it is. John inquires with Free Speech Systems and InfoWars Radio and TV. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to promote the idea of carriage of our radio content for weekdays and weekends where you might have an open time slot. Please feel free to contact me. I'll spare you the number. Our contact works well live or delayed at various markets. Run us at all times of day and overnights. It produces results for them. If you carried any of our content at any time, we encourage you to take advantage of our revenue sharing program to generate income. And then they've got their format clocks and their different offerings, Tom. And of course, you know, the featured offering, one must think, the Alex Jones Show. Live, Dom, Mondays through Fridays, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Time. And then also on Saturdays, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m.
Damn. So
That's the late night rant version.
Alex Jones putting out 4 hours of crazy-ass content a day.
Well, Dom, and who wouldn't want to add that? Maybe that'll be tomorrow's big announcement, Dom.
You're going to have to stick around and find out. Well, who wouldn't want it, Crudy? Let's see. YouTube, Apple, Facebook, they all removed content from InfoWars and Alex Jones from their sites today. CNN reporting. Each social media platform said Monday that it had removed content from Jones or InfoWars because it violated their policies. The company's moves shut down key distribution channels that had given the controversial media figure easy access to millions of internet users. Most dramatic action came last from YouTube, which is owned by Google. It removed many top channels associated with InfoWars, including the Alex Jones channel, which had 2.4 million subscribers and videos that were viewed over 1.5 billion times.
What are we doing wrong, Tom? We're nowhere close to 1.5 billion visual exposures.
Well, maybe our messaging's got to change. You just got to, maybe get a little crazy.
A little less sane?
Yeah, let's hear just a sample, if you would, Brian. Cut one. Alex Jones, he likes gay people, right?
I'm not against gay people.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I love them. They're great folks. But Schiff looks like the archetypal sucker with those little deer-in-the-headlight eyes and all his stuff. And there's something about this fairy hopping around, bossing everybody around, trying to intimidate people like me and you. I want to tell Congressman Schiff and all the rest of them, hey, listen, ass. Quit saying Roger and I never used cussing in 22 years, but the gloves are off. Listen, you son of a bitch. What the fuck's your problem? You want to sit here and say that I'm a damn fucking Russian? You get in my face with that, I'll beat your damn ass, you son of a bitch. You piece of... You damn fucker. Listen, kid, you have crossed the line. Get that through your damn head. Stop pushing your You're the people that have fucked this country over and gang raped the out of it and lost an election. So stop shooting your mouth off claiming I'm the enemy. You got that, you damn son of a bitch? Fill your hand. I'm sorry, but I'm done. You start calling me a foreign agent, those are fucking fighting words. Excuse me.
Well, Tom, it's going to be a tough decision whether or not Alex Jones and fine content like that is a good fit.
Tomorrow, we'll find out.
For Resistance Radio, but we will have a big announcement on tomorrow's show in the 4 o'clock hour. There's new content. It could be something very similar to that.
It could be something good. It could be something bad.
I tell you what, it'll never be boring here on Resistance Radio. Come back with us. We are the Devil's Advocates. You are always welcome here, Dom, and listeners, at 844-967.
Well, thank you.
2789. And when I say you're welcome here, I mean you're welcome there out in the open, and I'll quietly hide here in the broadcast bunker.
Prudy,
come back with us.
You're welcome.
More Devil's Advocates.
Gary. Who's Gary?
Those are fucking fighting words.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Oh, Gary!
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Steven.
Who said that?
Me, down here.
Ugh, what are you, a yellow booger?
I'm a banana slug, Steven.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm your sense of adventure. It's been a long time since we've had an adventure in the forest.
Mom took me to the forest last year.
I'm a slug, Steven. It took me a long time to get here.
You're right. I should get out.
Yeah, the forest is not that far away.
Hey, Mom!
Come to the forest where the more adventurous you lives. Check out discovertheforest.org for cool places nearby. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. But when we introduce a new stimulus, Save the Food, we're helping to stop food waste. Save the Food. For tips and recipes, visit savethefood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Folks, it's time for a change. This is Kristen from Waukesha asking you to vote for Kelda Roys for governor early or on Tuesday, August 14th. Paid for by Kelda for governor and her supporters in Waukesha County.
You concerned about speaking up at work? Do you feel like you have no say in your day-to-day work routine? Join Teamsters Local 344. Call 414-258-4545. Get a seat at the table. Join your brothers and sisters in negotiating for better wages, hours, and working conditions, and be part of the most powerful union in North America. Teamsters Local 344 covers sales and service throughout Southeast Wisconsin and package and airlines statewide. Contact Teamsters Local 344 at 414-258-4545 or at local344.org.
The Western Scrub Jay. I was taking my science class on a virtual reality bird watching expedition. All of a sudden, Charlie Kane shouts, "Arr! Arr!" He had spotted the elusive black swift, a bird rarely seen in the wild. For a brief moment, Charlie had not the eyes of a 9-year-old boy. He had the eyes of an eagle.
Teachers just have better work stories. Find out how creative teaching can be at teachdfw.org. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
It's a lot easier to measure how many times students use a semicolon correctly in an essay.
Educated educators talking education.
Than it is to measure how many wonderful ideas are in that essay.
Busted Pencils.
There is no teacher shortage.
With Dr. Tim Slecker.
There is a teacher exit.
Featuring Matt Damon's mom.
You want to know what my mom would say?
We've had an intrusion into education.
Busted Pencils Radio. Saturdays at 11 on Resistance Radio.
60% of the time, they're right every time. Dom and Cruz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, streaming live on the YouTube and Facebook pages. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio, and you can always hit us up on the party line, talk or text, 844-967-2789.
Now, Dominic, I realize I'm not a huge fan of Alex Jones, not like yourself, but that doesn't mean the man should not have some sort of platform, right? It's not going to be my radio station.
Well, what do you mean by that? You know, some of our righty troll friends took some exception to him being, pulled off of Alex Jones being pulled off of YouTube and Facebook and so forth, and Apple, that this is somehow a violation of his free speech rights.
Well, those are private corporations last time I checked, right? I mean, I guess publicly traded in the case of Facebook. You can buy the stock, but that doesn't mean that, it's not the government shutting them down.
Right.
It's a private institution. Wouldn't that be an editorial choice? A business decision of a private entity?
Why, yes, Crudy, I believe it would be. And they have every right, as do we, to set forth the requirements of discourse to get access to that platform. Now, Alex Jones is more than welcome to, use the wonderful system we have here in America and go out and be the best you can be, Alex, and start your own Facebook, whatever you want to call it. You can go do that. The government is not the one telling Facebook that they can't let Alex Jones on their pages. And just
have they shut down his MySpace page yet? I mean, I hear they're new traction over on MySpace.
Just like we have the absolute ability and right to take a call or not take a call, or if someone calls if they're getting out in left field, we can cut them off. We can ban folks from our Facebook pages. I mean, these actions have absolutely nothing to do with the government restricting what can come out of my mouth. And if Alex Jones, so one of our conservative trolls throws up on the Facebook, a Voltaire quote, I may not, believe what you say, but I'll support you to the death that you're right to say it, or something along those lines. And I would say this, sure, Alex Jones can be as idiotic and racist and terrible as he wants to be, and it's his right to be a D-bag. And he should be able to sit on the corner and say those things. But I don't have to give him a platform on our show, Crudy. We don't have to allow those kinds of statements and comments on our Facebook pages or websites or whatever it is that we control. You can do it, but if you don't have some sort of level of civility that whatever platform you're utilizing that they put up and you violate those, well, you should fully expect to get your ass kicked to the curb.
What about the uncivil that I agree with them? Because I see those as well. And here's the other thing I do. I often, go through, I read the comments, I give them a like, but a like is not the same as
a like is not
agreement.
Endorsement.
It's more like an acknowledgement that, I read that. But then, I'm pressed with the really obscene or the really profane or the really, whatever you've written. And I get to the point where, I find some of it quite troubling. I'm not sure if I want to like it or not. But ultimately, and I mean this in sincerity, Don, while I completely disagree with most of what Alex Jones has to say, even on those privately managed, owned, publicly traded platforms, should a guy like that have a platform? Should he have the right to say what he wants to say? Maybe rein it in a little bit, the whole FCC stuff, Dom. We mind our P's and Q's thanks to the FCC. But if we were a direct-to-app product and Apple pulled us down, right? Apple pulled us down. I don't like your attitude, boys. Well, we've been pulled down before. Effectively, we've been pulled off a radio station. Not due to our own actions, but we don't even know that for sure. No one gave us a straight answer. For all we know, we offended someone, and that person, threw some ad dollars and said, get those boys off the air.
And was your free speech violated in that action, Crudy?
Well, I may feel like I was violated, Dom, but I'm not sure it's a First Amendment free speech issue. Love to hear from the audience. 844-967-2789. It's Monday. Help us out.
Bring on through, bring on through, bring on through.
My hypocrisy goes only so far.
Those are f***ing fighting words.
Bye, Felicia.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Five Nines, your local single-source IT solutions provider. Specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy 59s.com.
Here's how you get them. If someone invites you for a cocktail, you bring them beer. If someone invites you to dinner, you bring a casserole. That's how you make friends. That's the Wisconsin way.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
First step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
They can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise, something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Looking for a job worth talking about? Teaching is creative, collaborative, and intellectually challenging. See why teachers have better work stories at teachdfw.org and learn more about becoming a teacher. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
James Santel, he's a former U.S. attorney. He's our guest live on Brady.
Once again, a pleasure to be with you, gentlemen, to talk about the latest news breaking as we speak.
The FBI raided Michael Cohen, Trump's personal attorney, but once they got there, then they went back and got a more thorough warrant and said, we'll take everything.
My first reaction is you need to teach criminal constitutional law. You've got it just right in terms of the process.
They are kind of a big deal.
This is a really big deal.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. TV actress and Milwaukee native Charlotte Rae, best known as Mrs. Garrett on Different Strokes and The Facts of Life, has passed away at the age of 92. Two Emmy-nominated filmmakers from Wisconsin have produced a new documentary on Betty White that will premiere on PBS August 21st. Today is Day 5 of the Wisconsin State Fair, and the Brewers lost to the Rockies yesterday 5-4 in 11 innings. They have the day off today, then start a 3-game series with the Padres tomorrow night at Miller Park. Outside this afternoon, scattered showers likely, temperatures in the low 80s in Milwaukee, mid-70s in Madison. Tonight, mostly cloudy with lows in the mid-60s. You're listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The Devil's Advocates, making radio great again.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, we've been joined live via phone by Molly Stentz from Wart Community Radio 89.9 FM in Madison. Molly, welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Wish it was under differing circumstance.
Yeah, no kidding. Hi, guys.
Hey, Molly.
So, Molly, we understand the latest Madison police seemingly indicating that this was not some random Trumpist act of violence against the station. Molly, can you set the scene as best you can for our audience that may or may not be aware of what happened at the station this weekend?
Sure. So, early yesterday morning, so Sunday morning at around 3 a.m., someone entered our building. Our studios are in downtown Madison. We don't know how they got in. Our doors are locked. They have key codes. Our DJs have the key codes. But they entered our building and they entered our broadcast studio and they fired upon our DJ.
Wow.
They hit one of our DJs. Yeah. And they were able to escape and they were able to call 911 and the police came and they're investigating now. But we don't know.
And Molly, it sounded like this happened right at sort of shift change. Radio often works in 3-hour shifts, at least the on-air shifts. It sounded like it was right about the time you guys were changing shifts from one set of DJs to another?
Yeah, exactly.
And Molly, all of your staff there, volunteers, they're people from the community that give up their time out of passion and love for radio?
Yeah, that's right. The DJs we have 300 volunteers at the station. They do everything from host all of our shows, from morning classical, afternoon jazz, evening rock, world music. We have every kind of music available on the station, and talented people that come offer their collections and their knowledge and share it with the community because that's what they love to do. We have talk hosts and news reporters, and then we have a small paid staff that helps keep everything running.
Molly, why are the local police so sure, if you can share with us, why are they announcing to the general public through media publications that this is probably not an act of violence randomly? Is the entry into the building which leads them to suspect this wasn't just some angry listener out there in radio land?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are asking that. A lot of people are wondering. There's so much speculation out there. People, obviously we've heard so much from the president, fomenting this hatred of journalists and the media, but there really wasn't any indication that that's what this is. It's not like we received a threat. There wasn't any, people have asked that, but that's really, like any radio station, we get our share of random callers. I'm sure you guys get them too. But, there really wasn't anything out of the ordinary. And it just seems like, given the time of day, such a weird time, of night, and given that they came, they knew how to get into the building, it just, there's some things we have a lot of questions about and we don't have answers for yet.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Resistance Radio. We've got Molly Stentz on the phone, one of our friends from Word FM 89.9 in Madison. Molly, the gentleman or person, I guess we haven't identified if it's a man or a woman at this point, they had their face covered. They're wearing a mask. Molly, that part I know about. We have seen a single bullet hole in the studio window pictured in some of the reporting. Can you tell us, was it a rifle or a handgun? Is any of that information public yet?
Yeah, don't know that. I mean, we definitely think it was a man. And, they shot, basically we have a broadcast studio and then we have a control room where all the equipment lives. And the DJs ran out of the broadcast studio and into the control room, and the person fired through the window at them. And so, and then they went into our record library to call the cops. So we did. The cops came, they got the bullet casings, they're looking into it, and we replaced the glass today, and we changed the codes, and we're getting bids on security, but we're a pretty small station, so, we don't have, a huge budget. We don't have, a bunch of money sitting around to just overhaul our entire building, but obviously we care very much about all of our volunteers and all of our staff and all the members of the public that are here in the building, so we're going to find a way to upgrade our security.
Well, Molly, you don't think about yourself being really any sort of celebrity, but, there is some modest celebrity that comes from doing talk radio or whatever the case may be. Has this affected, has any of the volunteers or any of the DJs, have they come to you and said, I'm having second thoughts. My wife, my spouse, my friend has said, hey, maybe you shouldn't be so public. I mean, we've been so warned. I've had people say, what you're doing is dangerous. And I've thought to myself, well, how bad could it be? Well, Molly, how bad could it be?
Yeah, I mean, definitely people here are shaken up. And I've been taking calls and emails and texts and Facebook messages and everything from volunteers, past, present, people that are concerned. Certainly I did hear from one of our DJs that is thinking about stepping down because of this and just doesn't want to take a chance. So, yeah, it's definitely shaken everybody up just to feel so vulnerable. We're a community icon. We've been in Madison for 40 years, and our building is really well known. We have hundreds of people that come through. There's, members of the public. We're constantly interviewing people. We have a lot of people in and out of this building. It's a fairly public place. So, yeah, it does, people feel like it's home, and to feel like something so severe and tragic would happen at your, at your home is very hard for a lot of people.
Molly, how would you describe the political leanings of WORT or maybe any of the volunteers or folks that work there?
Well, so the station is nonprofit and it's nonpartisan. We're entirely reliant on the generosity of listeners and people that want us to exist in the world. So most of our funding comes in small donations from people who listen to us on the radio, and every so often, we go on the air and we do these fund drives, and we say, hey, if you want us to be here, then kick us some change, and people do, and that has worked for 40 years. So we don't, as a station, we don't take positions on issues. Sometimes people ask us to do that, but we don't do that because we're a community station. We want to reflect the values and be open to everybody in the community. That being said, we're based in Madison, so certainly a lot of our hosts are politically liberal.
No, but haven't you also had some hosts like Congressman Glenn Grothman spinning some records, who is a Republican?
Yeah, absolutely, and we're totally open to that. I mean, the airwaves belong to the people. They're a public good. They're a public asset. They belong to everybody, and everyone should have access to them. And that's really why we're here, to provide that access to everyone. So yeah.
Molly, does it give you any sense of relief, if that's the word for it, to understand, at least as the police are saying now, that this was not random, this wasn't an act of hatred against journalism as a whole, but a targeted, specific act perhaps towards one or more people, perhaps a former employee or former volunteer, something along those lines. But it doesn't seem to be, inspired at this point, at least, by the rhetoric of the president. I mean, does that give you any sense of relief whatsoever?
Well, don't get me wrong. I think the president's rhetoric is very dangerous, and I think demonizing journalists, demonizing the media is very dangerous, and it's undemocratic, and we shouldn't have to deal with that. So I certainly think that it is a heightened climate that we live in now, where a lot of journalists are afraid to do their jobs. I certainly know a lot of them that is the case. So yeah, it's a really sad time that we're living in, where journalists have to be afraid to do their jobs. And we've certainly seen that with the media response here, with so many media outlets being so worried that that's what this is. So yeah, certainly I don't want to say I'm glad, but
right.
Obviously nobody wants it to be politically motivated. Nobody wants it to happen at all. But it's sad that we have to worry about this at all, that we have to be in this climate of not being able to do our jobs and not being able to broadcast, not being able to report on news, not being able to host discussions in a free and open society without fear.
Well, Molly, I was proud. I think this is something of a coup for your station. You folks are doing a live broadcast Wednesday, August 8th of a gubernatorial forum debate from Madison Central Library, the one over on Mifflin Street. Is that event going to go on Wednesday night? As they say, the show must go on. But is there anything preventing that big event broadcast on Wart from going on?
Nope, that is going on as planned. Yeah, that's what I thought I would be doing today instead of dealing with this. But yeah, I'm heading over there actually in a few hours to do a dry run. We're really excited. It all came together really fast, after it turned out that the Broadcasters Association wasn't going to do their debate. Listeners started calling us and people started saying, hey, we want to hear something. We want to know about these candidates. So we stepped up and we put it together, and we've got a great panelists, the editors of Isthmus and the Progressive Magazine, Judy Davidoff, Bill Leaders, myself, Dylan Brogan from Isthmus. So we will be asking questions of all candidates. We've got all 8 of them there. We're going to live broadcast it starting at 7. It's going to go till 8:30. If you're in the Madison area, you're definitely welcome to come down. The room will seat 200, and we've set up overflow seating that'll probably accommodate another 100 or so. If you can't make it down, you can certainly listen on our station, 89.9 FM in Madison, or you can watch it on Wisconsin Eye. Wisconsin Eye will host a live stream on their website and many other websites. So we certainly, and we offer the stream available to any radio station that wants it. So if you guys want to carry it, you're welcome to. We can give you a feed.
Oh, no
and
kidding.
We certainly hope. Yeah.
Molly, I did not know that.
Yeah.
We might be talking. I'll have to give you a call off the air. Molly Stentz from the Ward 89.9 FM in Madison. That seems like a generous offer, Molly. I might take you up on it. Certainly appreciate you joining us here on very short notice. Once again, sorry about the circumstances, Molly, but as brothers and sisters in radio, we offer you solidarity.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Molly.
Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Take a quick break. Come back with you on the phones if you choose. You know, we got all kinds of randoms. We call them our regulars. 844-967-2789.
There's not a problem that I can't fix. Cause I can do it in the mix. Cause I can do it in the mix. In the mix. In the mix.
We'd like to play a little tune for you. It's one of my personal favorites. And I'd like to dedicate it to a young man who doesn't think he's seen anything good today.
Hey, Ma! Can we get some meatloaf?
Before I wore a hard hat, I wore an Army helmet, and I qualified as an expert shot. I respect an American's right to carry a weapon. I don't respect the NRA profit machine that lets guns into the hands of criminals and the mentally ill time and time again. It's time for sensible gun policy in America. I'm Randy Bryce, and I approve this message.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
Hello, it's me, the designer jeans in the back of your closet. What happened to us? I used to summer in the Hamptons, and now I'm stuck behind a pair of sweats. Okay, maybe I never really fit you right, but I got a lot more Sunday fun days left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Sundays for Meet the Press with Chuck Todd from 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the Jeff Santos Show, kicking ass for the middle class from 12 to 3 p.m. And Citizen Action's Battleground Wisconsin rages from 3 to 4 p.m. Get your groove on with Stu Man PM, politics and music, 4 to 6 p.m. with Stu Daniels. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison, resisting dirty carpets and harsh chemicals. Brad, why should people use Zero Res Madison?
Why wouldn't you clean your carpets like this? We're not using any soaps. We're not using any chemicals. We cost about the same as the other guys. You look at it and you go, where's the downside? You got a completely green clean. That's awesome. We guarantee it. There's no downside.
There's no downside. Use Zero Res. Call Zero Res today. 608-848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Tired of holding your nose and choosing the lesser of evils in every election? Mike McCabe is a breath of fresh air, a once-in-a-lifetime candidate for governor. On August 14th, let yourself dare to dream of something better. Vote Mike McCabe for governor.
Paid for by commenters for Mike McCabe.
I'm Andy Buck, Field Representative with Painters and Allied Trades of Wisconsin. It's an issue that brings constant challenges for building contractors. How to find qualified painters, glazers, and drywall finishers. IUPAT knows what you want. A professional job performed by skilled workers who care about safety, training, and finishing strong. Workers who are reliable and ready on demand. Let IUPAT provide the people power that you need. You'll feel confident the job is finished right. Connect at IUPATDC7.com and finish strong.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in the former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
5nines, your local single-source IT solutions provider. Specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy 5nines.com.
Aleppo? What is Aleppo? Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Resistance Radio. You can check us out on the YouTube and Facebook sites. You can always hit us up on the Twitter feed at Devil Radio. You know, we're not banned like some people. And you can always give us a call on the party line, 844-967-2789.
I've been working on getting us banned.
You're not doing a good enough job, Crudy.
Well, you know, apparently not. Want to thank Molly Stentz for joining us on the show. Good luck to our friends at Wart FM 89.9 Community Radio right here in my hometown, Madison, Wisconsin. And, you know, practically, I don't know that we'd be able to carry that debate live. We already have some commitments on Wednesday evening, but, you know, we appreciate that very generous offer, and we wish those good folks well, Dom. And we wish all our audience the opportunity to join in on this little conversation if they so choose. At 844-967-2789. Dom, let's get to the phones.
Mark from the Sac. Happy Monday. You're up. What do you got for us today?
Happy Monday. It's an amazing day, you know, considering what Trump posted over the weekend.
We'll get there next.
But getting to, you know, the whole free speech things, when 92.1 axed you guys from the programming in a horrible business decision, you know, considering what was developing for you guys back then, it was not a free speech issue. It was a business decision that they made, and that you know, it's not government's job to you know, order, you know, an owner to maintain you know, the content, unless of course there's a contractual obligation there, that where you had some, you know, a contract with them that they're supposed to maintain for you guys.
Well, we did have a contract technically, Mark. They opted. They had their 10-day opt-out, and they exercised that option.
And that was their insane, you know.
Well, and that's their choice, Mark. But when you know, when Alex Jones gets banned from Facebook and YouTube and Apple because he's violating their community standards, you know, the Republicans or conservatives and trolls can't jump up and down and say, "What about freedom of speech?" It's not the government stifling the asinine things that he says. It's the corporations and the entities and the platforms that he's utilizing that are kicking him out for breaking the rules.
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, this guy has, you know, promoted stuff. I mean, that the whole thing that our particular troll in this case was proud to state that he had stood side by side with Mr. Jones there, and Mr. Jones was one of the deniers of for Sandy Hook there.
Yep.
I mean, here you have, you know, absolute proof that some of this stuff happened, and this guy is denying it. I mean, at Facebook, it's a decision that Facebook probably should have made a while ago.
I am less convinced, gentlemen. I am less convinced that he should be banned from platforms like Facebook. I would say it's, you know, the library has a fiction section too. The library. Appreciate the call,
but
Mark.
What are you talking about? Wait a minute.
Well,
if you are going to say that YouTube may have made a mistake for canning this guy and some of his sites because he violated their community standards, then what you're saying is that once you put someone on the air on this fine radio station, that you don't have the right to change the programming any shape or form because you're violating their free speech. What are you getting at?
I'm not saying I'm violating anyone's free speech, and quite frankly, I am regulated by the FCC, but they are not. They are not. There are profane, different content provided on YouTube.
And don't they have the right, just like you do, to determine what goes on their site and what does not?
sure, within reason, but what was it specifically that Alex Jones said or did that's worse than what others have said or done?
From, I think this is Political, the pages had been publishing content, quote, glorifying violence, which violates our graphic violence policy, and using dehumanizing language to describe people who are transgender, Muslim, and immigrants, which violates our hate speech policies, Facebook said.
So does the president. And in terms of violence, go look at some of these YouTubes that are devoted to people playing Fortnite or violent video games. To say simply that,
Come on!
What violence has Alex Jones inspired specifically? I mean, I think he's a moron. I think he's I don't know what to tell you, man. They're saying the InfoWars pages and the Alex Jones pages been publishing content glorifying violence, which violates their graphic violence policies, and using dehumanizing language to describe people who are transgender, Muslim, and immigrants, which violates their hate speech policies. So he's violating the policies of a platform that he's using for free against their policies, Crudy, and they have every right as an organization to tell him to stop doing it, and if he doesn't stop doing it, to kick his ass off. What happens? You play licensed music, they turn off your Facebook live stream, right? Couldn't they do something like that to Alex Jones? Isn't there some way to mute Alex Jones short of pulling the platform? I guess that's my only question. And it will not be answered in this hour. Come back with us. Hour 2 is next. You are always welcome here. Toll free. Call or text 844-967-2789. That's 844-96-PARTY.
The guy was very, very angry and tired, and he wants to go home.
Those are fucking fighting words. Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, I work hard to be a leader in my industry, and I know the challenges posed by changing technology. It's my priority to make sure your network is up over 99% of the time. There's no question, trying to manage your own business IT is risky, costly, and time-consuming. Don't let IT overwhelm you. Learn more about Five Nines at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
I'm jumping in with my clothes on.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Manafort versus Gates. U.S. takes on Iran. I'm Mike Moss. The star witness is on the stand in the bank and tax fraud trial of former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort. Correspondent Jim Sciutto says the witness is Rick Gates, who was a longtime close associate of Manafort.
For years, Rick Gates worked with him as his right-hand man, and the prosecution believed that he can then detail exactly how all this worked and can then get at what Paul Manafort is charged with here: bank fraud, lying to get loans, avoiding millions of dollars in taxes.
In his testimony so far, Gates has admitted that he and Manafort both committed financial crimes. California's Mendocino Complex fire is now the second largest in the history of the state, and it may take another week to bring it under control.
It's been raging for more than a week, and new evacuation orders were still being given out Friday.
There's a lot of us that are saying our prayers that this just escapes us. We're in a vortex, though. This is just coming down the road.
I'm Natasha Chen reporting.
The U.S. is getting ready to economically isolate Iran with reimposed sanctions to force it to negotiate a new deal to curb its nuclear program. National Security Advisor John Bolton.
So if the Iranians are really willing to come and talk about all of their malign behavior in the region and around the world, I think they'd find the president willing to do it.
Iran's president says he always believed that diplomacy would resolve international disputes, but he told a nationally televised broadcast to Iranians he does not trust the U.S. Chicago's mayor says one lesson from a wave of weekend violence is that people who live in neighborhoods where the shootings occurred have to be willing to name potential suspects. At least 65 people were shot and 11 killed in weekend gun violence in Chicago. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 39, S&P up 10, and the Nasdaq up 47 points.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Josh Kaul, the candidate for Wisconsin Attorney General.
Do you think voter ID had a suppressive effect, not on 100 voters, but on thousands of voters and perhaps tipped the election to Donald Trump?
This is an issue that came up at our trial. And first of all, I should thank you guys because we actually introduced into evidence the recording of you interviewing Dale Schultz, who was talking about the passage of the voter ID law. That was one of our pieces of evidence.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling devil's advocates.
/free. NASCAR Chairman Brian France has been arrested in the Hamptons on New York's Long Island.
Police say the 56-year-old was stopped after his 2017 Lexus blew through a stop sign. They say officers saw indicators the NASCAR chairman was intoxicated and found pills during a subsequent search. Officers arrested France and charged him for driving while intoxicated and criminal possession of oxycodone. He was held overnight, arraigned this morning, and released. NASCAR says it takes France's arrest as a serious matter and that they will issue a statement after they have all the facts. I'm Alex Hinton.
Police say this crime hits a new low. A 9-year-old boy in Monroe, North Carolina was held up at gunpoint while attending to his lemonade stand. The robber pointed a weapon at the boy's stomach and got away with a metal tin that held his earnings, all $17. Police say the boy has given a good description of the suspect and they hope to make an arrest.
I'm Jesse Pica-Holz with Solidarity Realty. If you're looking for a home in Madison or Dane County, call me. I know Madison. I know homes. I'll protect your best interests. Call Solidarity Realty at 608-284-9311 or search solidarityrealty.com.
Driving means
freedom,
exploration,
fun,
pride,
flexibility,
travel,
protection,
friendship,
escape,
independence.
Distracted driving means
danger,
recklessness,
irresponsible,
chaos, police, devastation, injury,
tears, death.
Safe driving means staying alert and staying alive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. But when we introduce a new stimulus, Save the Food, we're helping to stop food waste. Save the Food. For tips and recipes, visit SaveTheFood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Wisconsin's primary election is 1 week from tomorrow. Democrats will be choosing their candidate for governor. Republicans will be choosing their candidate for senator. And the residents of Milwaukee County will be choosing their next sheriff. To find out your polling place and to make sure you're registered, go to myvote.wi.gov. You can register to vote through Friday at your local municipal clerk's office, or you can register at the polls. And candidate for U.S. Senate Kevin Nicholson said he supports raising the age of eligibility for retirees to collect Social Security. Outside this afternoon, scattered showers likely, temperatures in the low 80s in Milwaukee, mid-70s in Madison. You're listening to Resistance Radio.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Monday Devil's Advocates radio show. Dom, you're acting like it's a yawner.
Don't do that, Crudy. You make me yawn.
I know, it's contagious. I apologize, my friend. I stayed up too late, man. I was watching, what's that movie, 3 Billboards?
Oh, right.
I watched that one last night past my bedtime. Sorry if I stayed up too late. Didn't make the alarm clock go off any later this morning.
No, funny how that works.
The kids, they can stay up all night, right? You got one kid in camp, the other kid's like, I'm staying up late. Anyways, let's get back to the politics. Let's get back to our audience, Tom. 844-967-2789. Who's holding?
Robert from Charlottesville is on the line. Welcome to the show. Robert, what do you got for us today?
Well, hi there. You almost caught me yawning, too. I woke up early this morning too, and I just wanted to get back to sleep. But yeah, you were talking about Alex Jones a minute ago, and so wasn't he behind the Pizzagate conspiracy that led to the guy shooting up that pizzeria? Didn't he push that super hard?
I believe he may have.
I'm not clear on that one. I know we were in Cleveland when Alex Jones got in a scuffling match in sort of a town square area. We didn't actually see him scrambling and scuffling, but we understand that he personally caused a little bit of a ruckus. But I'm not clear if he's connected to the Pizzagate. I mean, I
would
see
say
him
this, Kurt, let me just throw it out there. Headline from NPR, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones apologizes for promoting Pizzagate.
Well, then I would say you're probably right on, Robert.
Yeah, and he's also all those Sandy Hook victims he said were hoax. He said it's a hoax, and like all those people a bunch of them had to leave town because they were getting harassed. They can't visit their kids' graves anymore. I think you might be onto something if he promotes violence. I don't think that's it's not incorrect. I don't believe.
Robert, do you think that the social mediums that he is using are doing any sort of disservice, and could this be a slippery slope to regulating things like fine and wonderful and sarcastic things Crudy and I post? Is this a slippery slope?
Well, you're not claiming that these people are paid actors. Well, not last I heard. You're not doing that, are you?
No, we are not.
No, but we certainly take up ideologies that someone on the right would disagree with. There's someone out there that disagrees with damn near everything Dominic ever says.
Well, for the most part, y'all back up your facts, and I appreciate that. You cite your sources, like you just pulled up that NPR article now.
Well, that's because we're lefties. That's because we're the good guys. Robert, let me ask you. Your neck of the woods, Charlottesville, Virginia. You guys have been the eye of the hurricane, and quite frankly, the inglorious anniversary coming up. How do you think Charlottesville will acknowledge the violence and actual mayhem and a death that occurred about a year ago at this time?
Well, it's the station that I listen to y'all on is certainly the left radio here, and they mentioned it's coming up. So it's still in everybody's mind. It's still surreal every time I go on. Well, not every time, but last time I looked on Twitter and saw Charlottesville trending, it was because there was stuff happening in Portland that was very similar, and like some of the local people who followed the Charlottesville events were saying, "Look at the exact same stuff happening."
Well, so I don't know if I'll ever look at a tiki torch in quite the same way again. Robert, in terms of community standards, I've been to Virginia. I've lived in North Carolina. It's a little different than the upper Midwest. Some are still fighting the Confederacy down there. What do you think the tenor of the community has been post-Charlottesville? Do you think it's brought the community together, or is it, deepened the rifts between those that are blue and red or blue and gray, as the case may be down there?
Well, I know that there's a lot of talking, like there's a lot of mixed opinions on city council's reaction to it. There's the people saying, the police just kowtowed to the Nazi marchers that came in, the alt-right. And personally, I live just outside of Charlottesville. I'm still in the same county, but if I had south, maybe like 10 minutes, there's like a driveway that's got a Confederate flag hanging just outside of it. So it's very, my exact area, it's a little more mixed, but Charlottesville in general, I don't see a whole lot of the Trump stickers on cars, maybe a few of them. I'd like to think everybody's coming together as a result of, last year, August, so.
Well, we certainly appreciate you listening to us on 94.7 FM in Charlottesville, WPBC 94.7 FM, with all your progressive devil's advocates in the afternoons.
Crudy, let's just use a little more sound of Alex Jones to get a pure flavor so folks can perhaps chime in. Did YouTube, Google, through Google, Facebook, Apple, did they jump the gun, cutting Alex Jones out from their platforms? Fancy Brian, let's hear more from the controversial Alex Jones, Civil War rape and working in the fields, cut 2.
You're trying to start a civil war with people. You're taking our kindness for weakness. Do you understand? The American people will kill all of you. If you want a real war, a 1776, I'm not the one that's calling for violence. You're going to get wrecked bad. I don't want a war. Right. I don't need some, coming of age deal to kill a bunch of liberals. I just can't. But I also feel like I'm in dereliction as a citizen of my duty, not saying we have to start getting ready for insurrection and civil war because they're really pushing it. They will line you and your family up, and they'll shoot you in the head, and they'll rape your daughters, and they'll kill your sons, and they'll make your wife work in a field till she dies.
When he says they, is he referring to those liberals that he doesn't need any coming-of-age action to go kill some liberals? I mean, really? That should be just regular, good old-fashioned, hey, that's just his opinion. And maybe on his own website, in his own publications, he can spew that kind of stuff. But when you are on these other platforms, and those platforms obviously have, I would say, responsibility, certainly to their shareholders and also to the greater civilization at large, if someone like Alex Jones or Michael Crude or Dominic Salvia cannot adhere to whatever standards there are, well, they have every right to push him off or at least ask him to, modify their behavior.
Well, I suspect Alex Jones has been saying this kind of stuff for, some number of years now? And now suddenly he crossed the line. Now suddenly he's outside the community standards. Now I understand. We have elections that are under attack from foreign agents, talking about Russians and bots and whatever the case may be. But Alex Jones is a real human being. I've just always looked at him as some sort of buffoonish actor, as a guy who's hyperbolic and, quite frankly, in the same way I look at many of the characters of the WWE or right-wing talk radio. I mean, don't you think, isn't that what Donald Trump, we are devolving into WWE. That's what Donald Trump has taken us to. And he understands the playing back and forth with the audience, and even the villains are beloved in some twisted sort of way. I mean, he is playing a wrestling villain, and people love him for it.
Yeah, but I don't know about it. I mean, listen, if we're going to sit here.
Twisted trailer way.
Let's turn it around for a second. I mean, would you for a minute think that it'd be okay for us on this radio show to start talking about killing conservatives? I mean, isn't it? I mean, if anybody around
Send
here,
your hate mail to Dom.
if
Anybody,
of course not. That's no way. That's terrible. We all have conservative friends and family members. We would never. This is about this country. The reason that it works or chugs along is that we can come together with disagreements, traditionally speaking, and still move the country forward. Agree to disagree, but there's a time not so long ago, perhaps Republican senators and Democratic senators would hang out together. It's not a big deal. It's not about calling for the murder of your political opponents, and that's exactly what Alex Jones and those types of folks do. And I would never accept that from you or anybody around here, Crudy, nor you, I
just think that once upon a time, our society would have dismissed the Alex Jones. What is so freaking nuts about this is he's got 2.4 million YouTube followers.
Yeah, because now instead of having a crazy guy in the corner on the soapbox, he can use other people's platforms like YouTube, like Facebook, like Apple to amplify that message. And there is no constitutional right of free speech to utilize other people's resources to spew your crazy hatred.
My point should be the guy should have 3 likes on Facebook, 2.5 viewers on YouTube. The point, should we not dismiss him as a society? Why must Facebook or YouTube or someone say, we're going to shut him down? I just think it's a sad commentary on our society that it's this third-party vendor and you broke his practices when others, I guarantee, are breaking those same policies and practices with less ramification because they're some small fringe part of society. But Alex Jones somehow has galvanized millions of cult-like followers, Dom. And here's the part I don't get. And quite frankly, I think, some twisted way.
What can you say about taste?
I wish we did not have to stifle the Alex Joneses of the world. I wish society just ignored him. You know what I'm saying? Because here's what's really going to be difficult. At some point, I'd like to think this nation is going to move beyond Donald Trump. This state is going to move beyond Scott Walker. And the question becomes, when the right has done nothing but gin up their base, throw them red meat, tell them who to hate, how do we ever mend fences? How do we ever get to the point where we move beyond the Donald Trump presidency, the impeachment, the indictment, the coronary caused by too many Big Macs, whatever it is that does this guy in, and we see no more Donald Trump as the president of the United States? How do we move past that and heal as a nation? That's the only reason I don't like to see the characters like Alex Jones out there, shouting hate. But I wish he had his soapbox. I just wish his soapbox wasn't so damn appealing to so many god-awful human beings that would find this message appealing to their sensibilities.
In some regards, those that would find a guy like Alex Jones entertaining. It is, in many aspects, that WW, that professional wrestling, that wow, this has got to be a joke. I can't believe anybody
I will beat you down.
Right. It's something that perhaps they think they're engaging in the political process and being involved and entertained by a guy like Alex Jones, who says certainly some hyperbolic things, but what the hell? I'm just having a good time. And, he says, I agree with most of the things that he says, and that's fine. And he can do that. He can get his own printing press, and he can churn out as much crap as he wants, and people can turn it out. But you know what? We don't have to give them a platform. We don't have to give anybody a platform, nor does Facebook, nor does YouTube, nor does Apple or Twitter or any other organization that has a platform for others to espouse their views.
Well, the only platform I care about is Resistance Radio. It's the only one that matters. Come back with us. You are listening to it, and you are smart people for doing so. Not like those Alex Jones kind of people. You're the good people. 844-967-2789. Going to talk about Donald Trump. He's not. He's in the former, not the latter category. He thinks Alex Jones, really good guy. Come back with us. We're really good guys.
Two all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun.
Those are fucking fighting words.
On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are, yeah.
You're all gonna die!
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Only in the forest can you see this. And this. And this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
I didn't know it could do that!
Because one trip to the forest can spark a world of difference.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go, like hiking, canoeing, fishing, or camping. Or create your own adventure with family and friends, and you might just see this. Your moment's out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org. That's discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Resistance is live 7 days a week here on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Tune in Saturdays for Busted Pencils, fully leaded education talk with Dr. Tim Slecker, 11 a.m. to noon. Then it's the voice of the voiceless, champion of the working class. Earl Ingram's Saturday show is live from 12 to 3 p.m. Then Right Meets Left with the Joel and Joe Costa Show. Republican State Rep Joel Clayfish and Democratic State Rep Joe Costa Zamarupa go toe-to-toe from 3 to 4. Always streaming at newstalk1510am.com, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
You concerned about speaking up at work? Do you feel like you have no say in your day-to-day work routine? Join Teamsters Local 344. Call 414-258-4545. Get a seat at the table. Join your brothers and sisters in negotiating for better wages, hours, and working conditions, and be part of the most powerful union in North America. Teamsters Local 344 covers sales and service throughout Southeast Wisconsin and package and airlines statewide. Contact Teamsters Local 344 at 414-258-4545 or at local344.org. Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
I would like to thank you, President Trump. I also want to express my thanks to Governor Walker.
Foxconn CEO Terry Goh is thankful to the Republicans who delivered his $4.5 billion in corporate welfare.
Thank you to Foxconn.
Scott Walker thanks the foreign corporation who received the largest corporate welfare subsidy in history.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What about thanking the hardworking Wisconsin taxpayers you saddled with a generation of debt for a project that may never be paid back?
People should be rushing to me and patting my back and say, hey, thank you, Mr. Foxconn.
Call Governor Scott Walker at 608-266-1212 and tell him no thank you to corporate welfare, no thank you to environmental rollbacks, no thank you to a project that may never be paid back, no thank you to Foxconn. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
When they go low, we get high. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Resistance Radio, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. We're still there. Alex Jones is not. You can hit us up on Twitter at Devil Radio, and always voice your opinions here. 844-967-2789, free speech welcome.
Dominic, I got one last piece, and then let's shut down the conversation, kind of like Facebook shut down Alex Jones. Donald Trump, Alex Jones, and the illusion of knowledge, Richard Woolley at the CNN. Why are people talking about collusion, impeachment, obstruction of justice, and treason when it's crystal clear that Donald Trump Jr. was simply fulfilling his patriotic duty to catch Russian spies? At least that's the explanation Alex Jones, a right-wing radio broadcaster, was peddling on his show this last summer. He argued that Trump Jr. should be praised, not ridiculed, for trying to protect America from hostile foreign intelligence. Jones is notably the same broadcaster who last year interviewed Robert David Steele, a man who claimed that 2,000 children who go missing every day are being shipped to Mars to be used as sex slaves. It's easy to dismiss Jones's show and his cohorts as far-right conspiracy theorists, but his blog, Infowars.com, has over 3 million American viewers every month, and his radio show, which is syndicated in more than 60 stations, is reported to have anywhere between 2 and 5 million listeners daily. Most important, kind of like the Devil's Advocates, Tom.
Almost.
Most importantly, his show also has the backing of President Donald Trump, who has argued Jones has an amazing reputation and deserves a Pulitzer. Going back as far as Joseph Pulitzer and William Randolph Hearst yellow journalism, America has developed a tradition of sensationalist writers, broadcasters, and fearmongers. But now we have a dangerous mix with a sensationalist president who tweets out his own form of yellow journalism and reinforces the credibility of unhinged thinkers like Jones and his cohorts. Put simply, fact and fiction are morphing into alternative facts and gospel, since the United States is the most powerful economy and military in the world. This is not just an American problem, it has the potential to be a global problem, particularly if our government begins to make decisions based on falsehoods. Notably, following the missing children broadcast, NASA rebuked the report that children were being sent to sex colonies on Mars. That NASA, an independent agency under the executive branch, felt compelled to respond at all gives weight to the number of potential believers and the influence that Jones and his ilk may wield. And where's the conclusion, Dom? I'll bring it home in style if I have time. I don't have time. Let's just say
there's not child sex slaves on Mars?
No, they're all working at a pizza parlor in Jersey, apparently. You know, Pizzagate. I guess that's it for now. We will come back. We'll talk about, our truth teller in chief, President Donald Trump. More Devil's Advocates on the other side. Please stick around. You're listening to Resistance Radio.
Say, man, you got a joint?
Those are fucking fighting
Join the
words.
resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Live via phone, he is former U.S. Attorney Jim Santel.
Firing Bob Mueller doesn't mean that the prosecution, the investigation goes away. Pardoning one individual does not mean that you undo everything that has been done before. So this notion that somehow by shutting down and by pardoning and by sort of stopping the process, you're also stopping the wheels of justice is simply, again, it's simply wrong.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Hey, everybody. Did you know that Scott Walker spelled backwards is Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network? I know, I was amazed too.
Milwaukee County, this is Ernell Lucas. Dr. King once said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. It's not every day we find ourselves in situations that define our character, but I've had many. As a young police officer, I was shot in the face by an assailant, nearly making the ultimate sacrifice. I gathered the courage to return to duty because of my passion and commitment to serving and protecting our community. More recently, after the careless disregard for human life in the Milwaukee County Jail, I summoned the courage to stand up to a failed sheriff and his commanders. For over 40 years, I have stood watch over our community, keeping you safe and protecting our national pastime. On Tuesday, August 14, show your courage by standing with me to restore honor, integrity, and trust to the Sheriff's Office. I'm asking you to vote Ernell Lucas for Milwaukee County Sheriff, a leader with the courage to stand up for our community.
Paid for by Lucas for Milwaukee.
Hi, I'm Becky from Bounce Milwaukee, and I want to be the first to invite you to our newest attraction, axe throwing at Fling Milwaukee. Bring your friends, date, co-workers, or family to experience the rush of throwing axes at Milwaukee's first indoor throwing arena. Open 6 days a week for corporate team building, bachelor and bachelorette parties, date night, or just a fun night out. More information at flingmilwaukee.com or 414-312-4357.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only ordering classic corner tavern.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. Wisconsin's primary election is 1 week from tomorrow. Democrats will be choosing their candidate for governor, Republicans will be choosing their candidate for senator, and the residents of Milwaukee County will be choosing their next sheriff. To find out your polling place and to make sure you're registered, go to myvote.wi.gov. You can register to vote through Friday at your local municipal clerk's office, or you can register at the polls. And candidate for U.S. Senate Kevin Nicholson said he supports raising the age of eligibility for retirees to collect Social Security. Outside this afternoon, scattered showers likely, temperatures in the low 80s in Milwaukee, mid-70s in Madison. Tonight, mostly cloudy with lows in the mid-60s. You're listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Always raises a little hell up here on Brady Street. Dom, you know that's how we do it. And the President of the United States, Dom, I'm not going to say raising hell, but raising the stakes. And, you know, I mean, why didn't he just tweet out, sure, I colluded. What are you going to do about it?
From the Raw Story Crudy, the White House announced Monday that President Donald Trump would not take any questions after he admitted on Twitter that his son may have colluded with Russians during the 2016 campaign. In a tweet over the weekend, Trump reversed course on his explanation of a 2016 meeting with a Russian lawyer in Trump Tower. The president had originally claimed that the meeting had been about adoptions, but in his Sunday tweet, Trump admitted the purpose of the meeting had been to get damaging information about Hillary Clinton, the 2016 Democratic nominee. On Monday, White House correspondents reported that the White House had issued a lid on presidential travel and questions from the press. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders also had not scheduled a Monday briefing by the time of publication, says Raw Story.
Dominic, my understanding, Donald Trump still considering, gave like a 10-day window. I'll let you know if I'm going to do the Mueller interview.
Do it!
You know, without a subpoena.
Do it. You're so smart, Trump. Don't you worry about it. You can roll Mueller anytime with your brilliance and your best words.
Do you think he can respond on Twitter? You ask the questions, and I'll tweet out the answers.
Did you ask me a question?
The Washington Post, the plumb line, Greg Sargent, Trump may have just given a big boost to Mueller's case against him when President Donald Trump flatly declared on Twitter that his son held that Trump Tower meeting in the full expectation of receiving dirt on Hillary Clinton, he may have done more than concede that collusion did, in fact, take place. He may have also inadvertently pointed to a motive for his repeated efforts to obstruct the Russian investigation, possibly strengthening the case that he obstructed justice.
What?
I read this almost gleefully. You can hear the emotion in my voice. Much of this morning's chatter about Trump's Twitter admission over the weekend focuses on two important facts about it, but not that one. In the tweet, Trump stated forthrightly that the Trump Tower gathering was a meeting to get information on an opponent. However, we know that Donald Trump Jr.'s emails before the meeting that he, along with son-in-law Jared Kushner and campaign chair Paul Manafort, I hope we get time for a Manafort trial day 5 update, Tom.
We'll try.
But back to the Greg Sargent piece, took this meeting in the full expectation of getting information on an opponent that would be furnished by the Russian government. As many news accounts and analysis point out, Trump has now flatly conceded to that collusion more directly than ever before. As those accounts also point out, in doing so, Trump has also revealed that the statement he helped dictate about this meeting in the summer of 2017, which claimed it was primarily about adoptions, was a lie.
What?
But what's also notable is why Trump tweeted this. He was responding to a report in the Post that said this: Trump has confided to friends and advisors that he's worried that the Mueller probe could destroy the lives of what he called innocent and decent people, namely Trump Jr.
I thought he said innocent and decent.
Well, compared to him, it's a sliding scale.
Right.
As one advisor described the president's thinking, he does not believe his son purposefully broke the law, but is fearful nonetheless that Trump Jr. inadvertently may have wandered into legal jeopardy. Inadvertently, like he is this where the deep end starts? Publicly, at least, Trump is denying that he believes his son is in legal jeopardy. In his tweet, he claimed that this report is a complete fabrication, adding that the meeting was totally legal and done all the time in politics. But the actions of Trump himself and of his lawyers cast doubt on this claim, and this points to a huge hole in the current spin that the Team Trump is attempting. Is this: Trump and his lawyers keep claiming there was nothing wrong with this meeting, but they keep lying about it. The fact that Trump helped dictate the statement, falsifying the meeting rationale, is only the most glaring example of this. Additionally, Trump's lawyers argued in their recent memo to Special Counsel Robert Mueller that this Trump statement about the meeting was short but accurate. We knew that this was a lie, but now Trump himself has now essentially admitted it.
And in the very tweet, which admits that collusion took place, Trump also falsely claims that meetings like this to get oppo on an opponent are done all the time in politics, which absurdly airbrushes out of the picture entirely the source of his oppo, i.e., the Russian government. It is possible. Go ahead, Kurt. You want to jump in?
I was just going to say, yes, there is opposition research in politics. No, it doesn't typically come from the Russians.
It is possible, of course, that members of Trump's team only lied repeatedly about the meeting because they thought it was politically and not legally problematic. But it's more than likely that the Post reporting is correct, that Trump does worry about legal jeopardy. This is reinforced by the fact that Trump keeps pretending, as he did in this tweet, that the very thing that may make this meeting legally problematic, the Russian government's role, never happened. And if Trump does recognize that, it would provide a reason for trying to obstruct the probe. The obstruction case against Trump is more solid if there is strong evidence that he recognizes legal jeopardy. Daniel Hemmel, an assistant law professor at the University of Chicago, who recently co-published a useful scholarly exploration of presidential obstruction of justice, told me this morning. To be clear, as Hemmel points out, even if Trump did recognize legal jeopardy, it could still be very hard to prove that Trump obstructed justice. Trump has tried to scuttle the investigation in all kinds of ways, from firing his FBI director to demanding that his attorney general protect him from the probe to ordering the firing of Mueller. But to show criminal obstruction of justice, Mueller would have to demonstrate that Trump acted with corrupt intent in doing those things, say for the express purpose of protecting his cronies, such as his son, from investigation. Trump may have done some or all of these things because he feared that his son is in jeopardy, or more broadly because he believes the Trump Tower meeting and any other collusion that may have occurred may implicate his whole campaign in potentially illegal behavior. But we don't know that, and it has to be proved. This doesn't bring us all the way, Hemmel says. We have a reason for him to do it, but that's not the same thing as intent. This allows us to generate a hypothesis about what may have been in Trump's head, but Mueller would still want more. You've got two dots, but you still have to connect them. So we have no idea whether Mueller will conclude that Trump committed criminal obstruction, and beyond this, even if he did, he almost certainly would not prosecute the sitting president. Still, the Times reports this tantalizing nugget today. People close to the president believe that he may be increasing his legal jeopardy by continuing to speak publicly about sensitive matters, even as his campaign is under investigation for possible collusion with Russia, and he himself is under scrutiny for possible obstruction of justice.
You think? Just as an aside, you think this is perhaps a poor legal tack the president's undertaking?
I think he should continue to do it. Wrapping up the piece in the Washington Post, this strongly suggests Trump's own team privately worries he is supplying a motive for obstruction. Trump's effort to scuttle the investigation are continuing. He recently called on his attorney general to shut it down. And in this context, Trump's admission that collusion did in fact take place might help explain why he has continued to do that. As Hemmel told me, Trump is making Mueller's case for him. Or, as Adam Davidson puts it, Trump has, at this point, openly admitted to attempted collusion, lying, and a cover-up, which means that the case against him, politically for sure, and perhaps legally as well, has just gotten stronger.
I think the president might be in a little trouble, Dom. At least Fredo Jr. You got to think Fredo's doing a little time, right? I mean, barring a presidential pardon, which was most assuredly come. But I wonder if you can get Trump Jr. on some sort of state charges.
I hope so. I hope all these guys go down. And, hey, righties, I thought this was about adoption. Wasn't this about adoption? And didn't the campaign... Oh, that's right. They supplied a letter to special counsel. Well, was Socolow wrong? Was he lied to? Did he just make things up? We have some sound. Hell, Crudy, even Fox News' Andrew Napolitano breaks it down. Apparently, there might be some contrary facts, opinions, items of note. We'll have to get to some of the sound in the next break.
I think Trump has lost Judge Napolitano, Dom.
And when you lose the judge... You lost America.
It's not collusion. It's conspiracy. More Devil's Advocates on Resistance Radio on the other side.
Raise a little hell, raise a little hell.
You can't obstruct a crime that was never committed.
Did you ask me a question?
The only reason you get pardoned is you committed a crime.
Didn't do it. Lawyer f***ed me.
By the way, not in my opinion, in the opinion of hundreds of thousands of people on Twitter.
Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison. Brad, why should people use Zero Res Madison?
Why wouldn't you clean your carpets like this? We've got a patented system. We also do another step that most people don't do. We have a double rotating brush machine that we use when we pre-treat the carpet. So this helps dig up any of that stuff that's deeper in your carpet that the vacuum doesn't get. We're going to provide that intermediary step before we clean with our empowered water.
Call Zero Res today, 608-848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
Tired of holding your nose and choosing the lesser of evils in every election? Mike McCabe is a breath of fresh air, a once-in-a-lifetime candidate for governor. On August 14th, let yourself dare to dream of something better. Vote Mike McCabe for governor.
Paid for by commoners for Mike McCabe.
Hi, Resistance Radio listeners. This is Kim Schrader, the president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association. We are the 4,600 educators who make Milwaukee's public education system possible. MTA members are the guardians of public education because every single day we are fighting to strengthen and protect public schools our students deserve. MTA educators are leading the fight in Milwaukee Public Schools for smaller class sizes, more recess, physical education, art, and music opportunities for every child in MPS. MTA educators are the champions for healthier school meals, positive discipline practices, equitable schools, and schools that partner with parents. MTA members are the guardians of public education, and we are proud to teach all children.
Know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust. Your agent will best find the home that fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from offer through closing day. And most home listing contracts stipulate that the seller's agent pays for the buyer's commission.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
5 9s, your local single-source IT solutions provider. Specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy 59s.com.
Save the $2 on tomorrow's paper. Listen to the Devil's Advocates today.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, streaming on YouTube and Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio. On the phone lines, we'll get to you shortly, 844-967-2789. Crudy, not only did Trump tweet out yesterday regarding the admission that his wonderful son Donald had a meeting in Trump Tower to get information on an opponent, but he also said there was collusion today. And here's what he said. Collusion with Russia was very real. Hillary Clinton and her team 100% colluded with the Russians, and so did Adam Schiff, who was on tape trying to collude with what he thought was Russians to obtain compromising material on DJT. We also know that Hillary Clinton paid through a law firm, eventually Kremlin-connected sources, to gather info on Donald Trump. Collusion is very real with Russia, but only with Hillary and the Democrats. And we should demand a full explanation. And Trump seems to be quoting Dan Boningo on Fox and Friends, and it says, looking forward to the new IG report. Now, I would just say this, Mr. Trump, if this collusion, as you stated in your tweet about your wonderful son, Junior, is totally legal and done all the time, then why would you need an investigation of the Hillary, quote-unquote, collusion? Huh?
Well, that's Hillary. You got to lock her up, Tom.
That's right.
Maybe Donald Trump was watching the wrong Fox show. I saw little Judge Napolitano. I know you helped pull some of that sound, Dom. I think we should play it for the audience. It's rare, but somehow exhilarating when you hear a Republican legal expert lay it out on the Fox News. And let's lay it out right here on Resistance Radio, Dom. If it's truth, it bears repeating. Let's preach a little truth, Judge Napolitano style.
There is no such word in the law as collusion. That's a Hollywood and media term. The legal term is conspiracy. Not did the Trump campaign and the Russians work together, but was there an agreement to work together? The crime is the agreement, whether the agreement was put into place or not. That's what Bob Mueller is looking for.
So like paying for the dossier, that's an agreement.
Except that he's not investigating that.
Oh.
He's investigating whether or not the people from the Trump campaign entered into an agreement to receive dirt from Hillary, whether the dirt was received or not. The crime, if there were a crime, is receiving anything of value from a foreign person, entity, or government.
And as you heard, one of the co-hosts brought up the dossier. Andrew Napolitano on Fox News addresses that briefly. Let's play the next one, cut 7.
Well, the dossier was prepared by a person working for a law firm hired by Hillary Clinton.
So you're basically just laundering guilt at that point.
Well, you know, you may argue, and I've argued this unsuccessfully, that an agreement that ends up not being carried out shouldn't be a crime. But it is. It's the prosecutor's favorite crime. It's called conspiracy. It's the easiest to prove. All you need to know is who agreed and that one of them took a step in furtherance of the agreement.
Well, if you hire someone to kill someone, that's a crime, because even if they aren't successful,
Correct.
that's why it should
Correct.
be.
And if two people hire someone to kill someone, whether that killing takes place or not, they can be prosecuted for conspiracy to commit murder, even though there was no murder.
So conspiracy, let's make sure we use that word as often as possible. And I also want to bring out, let's not forget, the initial funding for the information about Donald Trump with the Steele GPS, a Fusion GPS with Steele, was initially funded by who, Crudy? Paul Singer. Yeah, Scott Walker's funder. Go ahead.
Now, I'm going to read from an opinion piece. Jonathan Turley, he is a legal scholar, and his headline, "If Trump meeting is illegal, then Clinton dossier is criminal too." President Trump has ignited yet another firestorm with his tweet admitting that the meeting in Trump Tower between the Russians and his son, Fredo Jr., was an effort to gather dirt on Hillary Clinton. It contradicts the statement that Trump released to the media in 2016. CNN anchor Allison Kermoda and others declared that the tweet makes a criminal charge against Trump an open and shut case. It does not, writes Jonathan Turley. It is not even compelling evidence of a crime because it is based on an erroneous interpretation of federal election laws. What is most alarming is the failure, again, to consider the implications of expanding the scope of such laws just to bag Trump or his family at any cost. Now I'm going to read on briefly. Dom, Trump tweeted, "Fake news reporting, complete fabrication, that I am concerned about the meeting my wonderful son Donald had at Trump Tower. This was a meeting to get information on an opponent. Totally legal and done all the time in politics, and it went nowhere. I do not know about it." So he tweets, Dom. At the outset, there are a couple of glaring problems with this. First, this is not fake news, but serious news created by Trump and his team in issuing a clearly misleading statements to the New York Times, then issuing a false statement denying that Trump drafted the statement to the media. Trump's attorney, Jay Sekulow, stated categorically that Trump had no role in issuing the statement that the meeting was only about a program about adoption of Russian children.
Sanctions.
Sekulow belatedly addressed that over the weekend with the equivalent of a shrug in a statement that, in a situation like this, over time, facts develop. He added, "This is what investigations do. The problem is that Sekulow is not investigating his client, but supposedly talking to him. The facts do not develop from a no to a yes.
Right.
The answer simply changed. Second, the president is only partially correct in saying that the meeting with Trump Jr. is done all the time in politics. The media has largely ignored that Hillary Clinton and her campaign spent a huge amount of money to fund the efforts of a former British spy, Christopher Steele, to gather dirt on Trump, including information about the Russian government and from the Russian government and intelligence figures. All of the outcries and expressions of shock by Democratic leaders over the Trump Tower meeting ignores the more extensive contacts and efforts by the Clinton campaign. However, this particular meeting is not done all the time because it was uniquely dumb. Trump Jr. pulled Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner into a meeting with an unknown participant connected to the Russian government and Trump Tower as members of the media meandered around downstairs. The irony is that the Clintons showed how this is done all the time with cutouts and third parties like Steele. Indeed, despite denials during and after the campaign, the Clinton team only admitted to funding the dossier after the media stumbled onto the paper trail long after the election. When caught, they simply declared it was done all the time as opposition research. The point is that only amateurs would take a meeting after a cryptic email from a music promoter about having Russian government evidence. They should have informed the FBI and used lawyers as surrogates. They should have done many things other than assemble the Trump triumvirate and walk blindly into that meeting. If stupidity were a crime, Trump Jr., Manafort, and Kushner would serve life sentences for doing so. However, crimes are defined by acts and levels of intent. More importantly, courts narrowly construe such definitions to protect the public from ambiguous rules that prosecutors can twist to indict anyone at any time. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Jonathan Turley writes on, but we got to go to break, man. This hour flying by, and the happy hour to celebrate next. We are the greatest, bestest ever radio show on Wisconsin's Resistance
We have the
Radio
best
Network.
words.
We have self-declared. I've declared it. It is true until I amend the statement later.
So say we all.
Come back with us. We are the super-duperest Devil's Advocates ever right here on Resistance Radio. Your call's welcome in the next hour. Not so much right now. 844-967-2789.
If I did a tenth of what she did, I would be in jail today.
How does this relate to our discussion of the uses of irony?
Did you ask me a question?
Before I wore a hard hat, I wore an Army helmet, and I qualified as an expert shot. I respect an American's right to carry a weapon. I don't respect the NRA profit machine that lets guns into the hands of criminals and the mentally ill time and time again. It's time for sensible gun policy in America. I'm Randy Bryce, and I approve this message.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Looking for a job worth talking about? Teaching is creative, collaborative, and intellectually challenging. See why teachers have better work stories at teachdfw.org and learn more about becoming a teacher. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Person who's against these regulations to keep poop out of your water and poison out of your food. If, one of their offspring had a third arm coming out of their forehead.
I would just think that would be awkward. You'd be very top heavy.
But you would be one heck of a football player.
How would they make a helmet?
All you gotta do is cut a hole in the helmet for the hand to come through, and you could catch
but then
passes
you're
all over
elbowing
the place.
everybody in the face every time you walk around.
Wear an elbow pad. You'd be fine.
How would you see?
You would be a heck of a football player.
Would you be an arm unicorn?
414 Wisconsin, weekdays 2 to 3 p.m.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance.
The Manafort trial, the Russia probe. I'm Ann Cates. The
The prosecution's star witness has taken the stand this afternoon in the tax and bank fraud trial of former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort. Correspondent Kara Scannell reports on Rick Gates' testimony.
He told the jury that he committed several crimes with Paul Manafort, over a dozen, that he set up with Manafort and that they never disclosed to the IRS.
President Trump is being urged to stop tweeting about a gathering that's in the spotlight of the Russia probe. Correspondent Jeff Zeleny on the president's latest account.
More explicitly than before, he's zeroing in on a 2016 Trump Tower meeting between his son Donald Trump Jr., top campaign officials, and a Russian lawyer promising dirt on Hillary Clinton. This was a meeting to get information on an opponent, totally legal and done all the time in politics, and it went nowhere. I did not know about it. That Sunday tweet was the most direct acknowledgement yet for the real purpose of the meeting, which is now part of special counsel Robert Mueller's inquiry.
Thousands of firefighters continue to tackle major wildfires around California, including one near a national park. Correspondent Dave Alpert.
Large parts of Yosemite will remain closed indefinitely due to smoke and haze from the nearby Ferguson fire. The National Park Service says while Yosemite Valley and other parts of the park have not been threatened by the fire, all roads in and out are blocked. The closure comes at the height of the summer season, forcing thousands of tourists to change their vacation plans.
The Carr Fire in Northern California has scorched 163,000 acres, destroyed 1,100 homes, and has 45% contained. The death toll from that blaze has risen to 7. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 40 points. The S&P gained 10. The Nasdaq up 48. I'm Ann Cates.
On marijuana, unfortunately, as a public health issue and a public safety issue, I've opposed that.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, how can medical marijuana help those addicted to opioids?
There's 3 big things. There's clear consensus now that cannabis can treat pain. That is not an opinion. That is a consensus conclusion by big scientific bodies like the National Academy of Science. We also know that it can help treat the withdrawal symptoms of opioids. People, they don't want to be on them anymore. They want to quit, but they develop the terrible withdrawal symptoms. And now we have evidence that it can actually help heal the part of the brain that is diseased in someone who's an opioid addict. If you had to start from scratch and design a substance to help lead us out of the opioid epidemic, like in a lab, it would probably look very much like cannabis.
Call Governor Scott Walker at 608-266-1212. Tell him good people do smoke marijuana. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
A new twist on getting kids to eat their veggies.
Researchers from the University of Colorado found that giving children segmented plates with pictures of recommended foods in each of those compartments led kids to eat more vegetables. The ideal ages to try this are with kids 4 to 8. On days when kids use the segmented plates, they served themselves nearly 14 grams more veggies per day on average and ate about 7.5 grams more than on days when they used normal white plates. That's about an additional baby carrot or 2 per day, a small increase, but researchers say even this little change can help create better eating habits for kids as they get older. I'm John Stolness.
During his time as a cast member on Saturday Night Live, Dan Aykroyd would ride his Harley-Davidson to work and back. Now he has ridden that bike into history, donating it to the new National Comedy Center, where it is on permanent display. He is one of numerous celebrities who have contributed artifacts. I'm Ann Cates.
I'm Jesse Picaholes with Solidarity Realty. If you're looking for a home in Madison or Dane County, call me. I know Madison. I know homes. I'll protect your best interests. Call Solidarity Realty at 608-284-9311 or search solidarityrealty.com.
I'm jumping in with my clothes on.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
Tom Perez, chair of the Democratic National Committee. Scott Walker went on something of a Twitter storm, very Trumpian. What do you think this foretells for Scott Walker's future as the governor of the state of Wisconsin?
Wisconsinites have woken up. He talked about we need an optimistic message. How can you make people feel optimistic when you take away their health care? How can you make people optimistic when you take away the right to bargain? How can you make people feel optimistic when you're gerrymandering the heck out of districts?
Radio for the 99%.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. A radio announcer at community radio station WORT in downtown Madison was shot early Sunday morning when a masked man burst into the station, and a 3-year-old boy and a 54-year-old woman died in separate. Tonight, mostly cloudy with lows in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a slight chance of afternoon showers, highs in the mid-70s. And for Wednesday, mostly sunny with highs in the low 80s. You're listening to Resistance Radio.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, we are sliding into the 5 o'clock happy hour. And I got to tell you, I'm happy. I feel like the tensions, they're easing with the Russians, thanks in no small part to Steven Seagal. Here's a quote from, actor, black belt Steven Seagal. I've always had a very strong desire to do all I can to help improve Russian-American relations. I've worked tirelessly in this direction for many years, unofficially, and I'm now very grateful for the opportunity to do the same thing officially. Well, Dom Seagal, who sometimes appears on Russian state TV to talk about his views and careers, was cited by Kremlin-backed TV station RT as welcoming this appointment. He's got a new gig, buddy. He's like Russian, let's just read it out.
I'm going to take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
Russia's foreign minister said on Saturday it had made U.S. actor Steven Seagal its special representative for Russia-U.S. humanitarian ties, a role it said was meant to deepen cultural, art, and youth ties between the two countries. Isn't Seagal 66?
How does it feel to know you're about to die?
Russian President Vladimir Putin presented a passport to the U.S. actor Seagal in 2016, saying he hoped it would serve as a symbol of how fractious ties between Moscow and Washington were starting to improve. Then he, bought off Donald Trump with a PP tape?
Since then, U.S.-Russia relations have only gotten worse, however, with U.S. intelligence agencies accusing Moscow of interfering in Donald Trump's White House run, and allegations Seagal's new role to that of a UN Goodwill Ambassador, and said that the actor, who is known for his martial arts prowess, would receive no salary.
How about if I show you what it's like to be a victim like this guy? Huh?
It's a case of people's diplomacy intersecting with traditional diplomacy, the ministry said. Seagal,
people's diplomacy? I mean, but honestly, who on this side of the pond, who in America is still like, oh man, Steven Seagal, if he says the Russians are okay, they got to be okay, right?
Well, the worm wasn't available?
Dominic, while I understand the appeal of that story, I did want to get to the Manafort trial today. You know, it's day 5, and as the headline at Politico says, Manafort's defense team attempts mission impossible. Josh Gersten and others at thepolitico.com. Paul Manafort might be facing long odds, but President Donald Trump's former campaign chairman isn't just rolling over in his Virginia trial on tax evasion and bank fraud. Many Washington attorneys have speculated that the longtime GOP operative is biding his time pining his hopes on Trump swooping in with the pardon that lets him off the hook if he's convicted in Virginia or in a second trial in September on another set of charges from special counsel Robert Mueller. Here's a quote. Normally, you'd say this is pure kamikaze, but maybe Manafort feels there's a possible escape hatch, said Peter Zeitenberg, who worked on previous special counsel probe. Still, Manafort's legal team is mounting a case to exonerate him in Virginia, an uphill battle, experienced attorneys say, since jurors have already seen a mountain of emails who cut a plea deal with prosecutors in exchange for cooperation. Well, Dom, we know what the legal defense of Manafort's been. It's all Rick's fault.
Since February, when Gates pleaded guilty and agreed to cooperate with Mueller's team in exchange for leniency, it has seemed inevitable that he would become a target for Manafort's defense. Dirtying up a cooperating witness is standard fare for defense lawyers who typically argue that the witness is pointing the finger at others to save his own skin. What you've got to be careful of is they may not just sing, they may also compose. U.S. District Judge T.S. Ellis III observed at a hearing in the Virginia-based Manafort case earlier this year. Yet Manafort's defense team startled many in the courtroom last week by putting the typical argument on steroids and arguing that Gates was not only a liar, but had been stealing from Manafort for years. Here's a quote. Rick Gates got himself in trouble not because of some grand conspiracy with my client, as the special counsel contends, but because he embezzled millions of dollars from his longtime employer. He abused his position of trust, Manafort attorney Tom Zenley argued in his opening statement. The defense has yet to explain how and when this alleged theft took place. Gates seems to have had significant authority over at least some aspects of Manafort finances based on court testimony and documents shown to jurors. However, legal experts say even if Gates was lining his own pockets, that doesn't undercut the government's case against Manafort unless they can show that Gates was orchestrating the whole scheme by moving funds through offshore havens like Cyprus and St. Vincent and the Grenadines and using it to pay for personal expenses. Now, my understanding, Gates has taken the stand today.
Yeah, Brett Samuels at the Hill.com reports Gates testifies he committed crimes while working for Manafort. Richard Gates took the stand in former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort's trial on Monday, where he testified that the two men committed crimes while working together. Gates, a longtime business associate of Manafort's, was indicted on fraud charges in October, but later pled guilty to reduced charges as part of a plea deal. According to multiple news outlets, did you commit a crime? The prosecution asked. Yes, Gates replied again. And then Manafort said, see, I told you it was Rick's fault. Manafort is on trial in Virginia for various financial crimes he was charged with as the part of special counsel Robert Mueller's ongoing investigation. Dom, I hope there's more updates. It's the trial of the week. I can't wait till it's Trump Jr.'s turn.
Just stand by. I'm sure that will come soon.
Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. It's mission impossible to get through a Monday without your help. Unfortunately, Lena Taylor was supposed to be a fine guest on this show, Dom. She was going to promote the National Night Out tonight. That event has been rescheduled to later in the month. They're anticipating inclement weather in the Milwaukee area later this evening. Not a good day for a street party, but it's always a good day to listen to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It is your mission if you choose to accept it. Come back with us. Join us on the phones, 844-967-2789. This radio show will self-destruct in 10 seconds.
Boy, this looks like very big stuff.
Oh, I know what you're thinking. Mine's bigger than yours, right?
Did you ask me a question?
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Did you know you can take Wisconsin's Resistance Radio anywhere? Check us out on the TuneIn app under WRRD. I'll help you out. Hey, Alexa, play WRRD on the TuneIn app. You're welcome, everyone, and thank you for listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
Here at Bounce Milwaukee, we not only want families and friends to build connections, we also want to grow those connections in our community. That's why every Wednesday night from 5 to 8 p.m., we host Refuel the Resistance. It's a great chance to have a drink in our arcade bar, try something from our fantastic restaurant, connect with progressive activists, and support local organizations. For more information about Bounce Milwaukee's Refuel the Resistance, visit us at bouncemilwaukee.com or call 414-312-4357.
Today we decided to walk to school. The light counted. 15, 14.
31? I mean, 13?
We took a left on Carroll Street. Danny's smart, but he gets distracted. He realized he forgot his homework. I hope he doesn't have another bad day at school.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Indoor baseball, anyone?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Ignacio, what do you got for us today?
Hey, I quit paying attention for like maybe one day, and all hell breaks loose. That goes to show me I got to pay attention every single day to your radio program, or else who knows what'll happen.
If you don't listen to the Devil's Advocates 3 hours every day, Nacho, you're missing a lot.
You got that right. I just learned that today. I turned it on and I'm listening, and you really just rocked my world today. I was just totally blown away.
Save the $2 on tomorrow's paper. Listen to the Devil's Advocates today.
Totally blown away.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-00.
Join Teamsters Local 344. Call 414-258-4545. Get a seat at the table. Join your brothers. Contact Teamsters Local 344 at 414-258-4545 or at local344.org.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience, an ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. But when we introduce a new stimulus, save the food, we're helping to stop food waste. Save the food. For tips and recipes, visit savethefood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
We are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show on Resistance Radio, streaming on YouTube and Facebook. Check us out there on Twitter at Devil Radio. And you can give us a call or shoot us a text toll free. The party line is 844-967-2789.
Dominic, want to talk about the Rick Gates, this liar, thief, / buddy of Paul Manafort's, and campaign worker for the Trump team, and he also joined the transition committee, right?
Yes.
I mean, Rick Gates, he had many jobs, many jobs.
Wore lots of hats.
And I've also got a non-exhaustive list of things that Donald Trump Jr. has Googled in the last 2 days since his old man tweeted out what a wonderful boy he was. But first, Dom, I think we should do the Rick Gates, according to the Washington Post. The newest update on the trial. Rick Gates, the star witness against President Donald Trump's ex-campaign manager, admitted in federal court Monday that he committed a host of crimes with his former boss and confessed to stealing from him and others. What a swell guy.
Right.
In his first hour on the witness stand, Gates cataloged years of crime, saying most of his wrongdoing was committed on behalf of his former boss, Paul Manafort, while other crimes were for his own benefit, including the theft of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Gates also made clear he was testifying against Manafort in the hopes of receiving a lesser prison sentence, having pled guilty in February as part of a deal with special counsel Robert Mueller. Wearing a blue suit and a gold tie, Gates strode to the witness stand in Alexandria, Virginia federal court shortly after 4 p.m. It did not waste much time before cutting to the heart of the issue. We've talked about this, Tom. Did you commit crimes with Mr. Manafort? Yes, Gates responded. As he answered questions, Gates kept his eye on the prosecutor. Manafort, seated at the defense table, stared intently at his former business partner. Presented with a copy of a plea agreement he signed, Gates said he conspired with Manafort to falsify Manafort's tax returns. Andreas being a prosecutor, asked Gates whether he understood that his lies and omissions were illegal. Yes, Gates said. When asked why he had lied, Gates said he had done so at Manafort's request. Ooh. But again, it's easy to impeach a witness of this sort, is it not, Tom? Let's read on briefly. Gates said he and Manafort had 15 foreign accounts they did not report to the federal government, and they knew it was illegal. Mr. Manafort directed me to not report those accounts, Gates testified. Gates also said Manafort had directed him to report money wired from his foreign bank accounts as loans rather than as income to reduce Manafort's taxable income. By reporting it as a loan, Gates explained, Manafort could defer the amount of taxes he owed. Gates said that even while he was committing crimes with his boss, he was also stealing from him. Do I got to watch you too, Don?
While helping him commit crimes, Rick Gates admits he also embezzled from his former boss, something Manafort's defense attorneys have said repeatedly throughout the trial. Gates said he had authority over some of Manafort's Cyprus accounts, which were set up by a law firm in that country. I added money to expense reports and created expense reports that were not accurate, he said, to pad his salary by several $100,000. Damn!
That's what you did last year, Tom. Yeah. It's all that per diem. You get him with the per diem.
Every single time. So Gates, long list of wrongdoing testifying against his former boss.
Now, I wonder if this guy's ever employable in the future. Gates testified that he had embezzled from other employers as well, and that he volunteered that information to investigators once he began cooperating. Gates said he also told prosecutors he had lied in a deposition in a civil case against Manafort involving a private equity fund. As part of his plea deal, Gates said prosecutors agreed not to pursue charges on those matters and drop a second indictment against him in Alexandria, accusing him of bank and tax fraud. Gates said he was guilty of those crimes, having wired money from Cyprus through the United Kingdom to the U.S. without paying taxes on it for himself. He also admitted wiring money from Cyprus for Manafort that was not declared as income. Asked if he got any personal benefit from Manafort's falsified loan applications, Gates replied, "No, I did not." Well, where do you think Manafort borrowed the money that you stole from him, Rick?
Oh, fantastic. So here we go. We'll see.
Have you ever heard the story of how Rick Gates and Paul Manafort met?
I have not.
Gates described for the jury how the two first met. At a Christmas party at Manafort's house, when Gates thought of him in the same way, the two did not socialize outside of work, like us, Tom.
I got a huge expense report I need to submit for last month, man. It was a busy month for me.
When lawyers interrupted the questioning for a sidebar with U.S. District Court Judge T.S. Ellis III, Gates sat in the witness chair, staring straight ahead, not looking at Manafort. Manafort took a few notes and seemed at one point to chuckle to himself. I hope it was a good joke, Paul. Manafort and Gates were indicted together last year on dozens of charges that they conspired together to hide millions of dollars from the IRS and foreign bank accounts. And when their cash flow dried up, submitting false information to banks to get loans. Is that how you do it, Don?
I had no idea.
Long time or like a short to medium stay at Club?
I think he, based on his deal, he wouldn't do any more than 10 years. Is that what I read?
Wow, that's still a lot of time.
It is still
10 years. That's like a decade.
Yes, it is. Let's see. Under his plea agreement, Gates said he can go to prison for 10 years, but his guidelines are 57 to 71 months, and prosecutors will not stop his attorney from asking for a probationary sentence. But he said new charges could be brought against him if he fails to abide by the deal's conditions, which include telling the truth. You must tell the truth in court. I mean, this is the world we live in.
They call that the Pinocchio condition. Folks, we are the devil's advocates.
Real quick, Gates has repeatedly said he committed the majority of his crimes at Manafort's direction. Off the top of his head, he named 12 overseas companies he and Manafort controlled. On prompting from prosecutors, he identified 3 more. Yes, they all belong to Manafort, he said. The money in them came from income from political consulting in Ukraine.
Oh, that Paul Manafort, he's got some troubling days ahead. I do so hope for his sake that he gets the Trump pardoned.
No.
Otherwise,
no. I mean, you think he will? You think this will go on and Trump will pardon him? And
yeah, I think Trump will.
And do you think there will be any then political recourse for that action?
Manafort may still face some sort of state crimes, but I don't know how you see a guy just basically breaking the law corruptly. I mean, I know Donald Trump's entire cabinet does it as regular course of action, but I don't know how you get prosecuted for it in the courts, convicted, which I suspect is coming, and then pardon the guy and say, he's a good guy. I had to let him off the hook. Folks, we are the devil's advocate.
We've got to protect our phony baloney job, gentlemen. We must do something about this immediately.
Five Nines, your local single-source IT solutions provider. Specializing in cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting. We manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Enjoy technology. Enjoy 59s.com.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Once again, the American public has some reading to do. A 29-page indictment today. Americans need to take a look at page 6, paragraph 20, and here come those important 8 words: to interfere with the 2016 U.S. presidential election. That is it.
Jim, I'm going to make a confession on behalf of the panel. Dom's not going to read the indictments.
Come on, maybe.
The Devil's Advocates, political commentary from the back of the class.
You are listening to 1510 AM WRRD Waukesha, Milwaukee, and 1580 AM WTTN Columbus, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network. Brad Zog, owner of Zero Res Madison, resisting dirty carpets and harsh chemicals. Brad, why should people use Zero Res Madison?
Why wouldn't you clean your carpets like this? We're not using any soaps. We're not using any chemicals. We cost about the same as the other guys. You look at it and you go, where's the downside? You got a completely green clean. It's awesome. We guarantee it. There's no downside.
There's no downside. Use Zero Res. Call Zero Res today. 608-848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean. Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
On marijuana, unfortunately, as a public health issue and a public safety issue, I've opposed that.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta, how can medical marijuana help those addicted to opioids?
There's 3 big things. There's clear consensus now that cannabis can treat pain. That is not an opinion. That is a consensus conclusion by big scientific bodies like the National Academy of Science. We also know that it can help treat the withdrawal symptoms of opioids. People, they don't want to be on anime anymore. They want to quit, but they develop the terrible withdrawal symptoms. And now we have evidence that it can actually help heal the part of the brain that is diseased in someone who's an opioid addict. If you had to start from scratch and design a substance to help lead us out of the opioid epidemic, like in a lab, it would probably look very much like cannabis.
Call Governor Scott Walker at 608-266-1212. Tell him good people do smoke marijuana. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
For Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network, I'm Stu Daniels with your headlines. TV actress and Milwaukee native Charlotte Rae, best known as Mrs. Garrett on Different Strokes and The Facts of Life, has passed away at the age of 92. Two Emmy-nominated filmmakers from Wisconsin have produced a new documentary on Betty White that will premiere on PBS August 21st. Today is Day 5 of the Wisconsin State Fair, and the Brewers lost to the Rockies yesterday 5-4 in 11 innings. They have the day off today, then start a 3-game series with the Padres tomorrow night at Miller Park. Outside this afternoon, scattered showers likely, temperatures in the low 80s in Milwaukee, mid-70s in Madison. Tonight, mostly cloudy with lows in the mid-60s. You're listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio Network.
The Devil's Advocates. Rock and roll political commentary in a top 40 world.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. The happy hour, it continues right here, Dom, on Resistance Radio. And you know, some things, they're just worth a Google. And I found this little piece at the Washington Post, Alexandra Petri, a list of things Donald Trump Jr. has probably Googled in the past 2 days. What follows is a not-exhaustive list of things I assume Donald Trump Jr. has Googled in the last 2 days following this tweet, by the old man at Real Donald Trump. Fake news reporting a complete fabrication that I'm concerned about the meeting my wonderful son Donald had in Trump Tower. This was a meeting to get information on an opponent, totally legal and done all the time in politics, and it went nowhere. I did not know about it. Apparently, you just tweet about it. But Dom called the son Donald a wonderful son and, sort of forgave him the sin of this Trump Tower meeting. Now, here are things, a few of the things that, here's another one. Is it illegal if you do it to earn your father's love?
Yes.
Another one. Is it possible to do something wrong if you don't know any laws and furthermore are rich? Sort of the I'm an ignorant rich kid defense, Dom. It works often. I've seen it work successfully. Here's another one. Where in your online dating profile should you put the phrase wonderful son? Should it be before hunting or after hunting?
I like this one, Curry. The part in the Bible when God calls Jesus my wonderful son.
You're the best son money can buy.
Here's another one. Clubs for wonderful sons to meet and network. Is there anything better than wonderful son that your dad can say about you, or is that the peak?
I think if you're a Trump kid, that's probably about as good as it gets.
Was Darth Vader a good dad?
Yes.
Should you share a tweet on your Instagram that says something wonderful about you but also implies you might have committed a crime?
I would say put Trump Jr. down also for a yes, Dom.
But what if it literally says you are wonderful? If someone says my wonderful son with a comma, does that mean they love you most? Are people allowed to arrest you if you have money, Crudy?
I'm not sure if they are.
Another Google from Donald Trump Jr. Crudy, I'll let you jump in after this one. Perhaps Donald Jr. Googled, what did Paul Manafort do wrong?
Have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
Here's another one. The speculative list on things that Donald Trump Jr. may have Googled in the last 2 days. People have to tell you if you're committing a crime. Otherwise, that just would not be fair. Dom, here's one. Cat Stevens' song about fathers and sons.
I can handle things. I'm smart.
Playlist that is just the Cat Stevens song about fathers and sons. He also, I understand, Dom, perhaps Googled Fathers and Sons. Fathers and Sons, not the novel. And how old is too old for Take Your Son to Work Day? Casual ways to ask people to play catch.
like what, in the yard in prison?
Hey, you know, they do get exercise an hour a day in the yard, but probably got to use rolled up ball of tape. Probably don't get the real hard ball. Could throw that at a guard. Here's another one. Is it weird to show someone a drawing you made of them that you were proud of if it has been more than 20 years? Can't stop crying listening to Father and Son. He also, perhaps, Tom, Googled Cat Stevens concert tickets.
Are there any famous Goya paintings of Saturn being nice to his children, just hanging out? Perhaps he Googled, should I be taller now that I have confirmation of my father's regard?
I'm taller if I stand in my wallet, he's probably thinking.
Perhaps Don Jr. Googled casual replies to people who know something about you is different, but don't realize that your father sees you as the wonderful son you are.
How about this, Tom? Perhaps out seeking Death of a Salesman tickets. Is there a part of Death of a Salesman where Willie Loman calls his son wonderful?
How rich do you have to be to never get into legal trouble?
I was kept pretty much in the dark.
Here's one. Should you capitalize wonderful son in a tattoo?
If you did something that was maybe a crime, but it was boring and weird, doesn't count.
What is the... Oh, did you say this one? What is the fewest dollars you can have and never go to jail?
Can white people do crimes?
How many
like
dollars?
Movies about gladiators.
How many dollars does Donald Trump have? That one's kind of a moving target, isn't it, Tom?
Wow. All entirely possible.
Incognito browse, so law enforcement cannot see what you're Googling.
Right. Oppo researches legal always yes.
Hair oil.
Most beautiful words in the English language.
Well, that, of course, is wonderful son. Here's one. It definitely doesn't count as breaking the law if someone doesn't explicitly say to you, do you want to do something illegal and break the law?
Right.
Cops have to tell you they are cops. It is the law.
Right.
Dom, do you know there's also a law requiring Russian spies to tell you they're Russian spies?
Is there a paint color called Wonderful Sun? Perhaps Junior Googled Wonderful Sun art or Wonderful Sun playlists or Carry On My Wonderful Son or ways to work the phrase Wonderful Son into conversations.
Dom, he perhaps also Googled matching father-son outfits that are subtle. Here's one. I bet he Googled best sons ever.
Ever.
He saw a picture of me. And then finally, should I go blonde?
I don't know if it'll matter in the pen.
So that was at least a non-exhaustive list of perhaps what Donald Trump Jr. might have been, Googling since the old man kind of threw him under the bus, Dom.
But he called him Wonderful Son first. Now, here's what I don't get really about this. There's been, I remember Trump saying that I don't blame Junior for taking the meeting. A lot of people would have taken the meeting. That's what you do. He said that in the past. So what is it, to your perception, Crudy, what is it about this particular tweet today that gives any more veracity or to the fact that they were doing this conspiracy versus Trump's verbal statements on this very meeting last year?
Well, let me answer your question with this statement. You're a wonderful friend.
Google wonderful friend.
You'll see Dominic.
844-967-2789. You want to jump on, Crudy? We have sound. We have to get to it.
Just don't Google us.
Donald Trump's personal attorney pulling out almost the alternative facts comments, spinning it around, trying to explain why he so misled, lied to the American people in the past.
I got a little dare for the listening audience. Go Google Dominic naked. I'll just put it this way. It's not a pretty sight.
Come on, man.
It's like a train wreck, but you can't stop looking. Come back with us. We are the Devil's Advocates.
Crudy's seen me naked.
Listening.
I mean, I've seen you naked. You've seen me naked.
I know. I have seen you naked.
You can download those visions into Google? That's amazing.
Brian, you be careful or Dom's going to strip you naked and throw you out on Brady Street.
Like it would matter to me.
It would matter to lots and lots of people, I'm afraid. 844-967-2789. Running out of show. You better join us now.
When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're gonna have a good time there.
Daddy, can I go with you? I said, yes, you can.
I'm smart and I want respect.
Before I wore a hard hat, I wore an Army helmet, and I qualified as an expert shot. I respect an American's right to carry a weapon. I don't respect the NRA profit machine that lets guns into the hands of criminals and the mentally ill time and time again. It's time for sensible gun policy in America. I'm Randy Bryce, and I approve this message.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Join the resistance against dirty carpets. Call Zero Res Madison today for our summer special. Clean and sanitize 3 rooms for only $139. Call 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Tired of holding your nose and choosing the lesser of evils in every election? Mike McCabe is a breath of fresh air, a once-in-a-lifetime candidate for governor. On August 14th, let yourself dare to dream of something better. Vote Mike McCabe for governor.
Paid for by commenters for Mike McCabe.
I'm Andy Buck, field representative with Painters and Allied Trades of Wisconsin. It's an issue that brings constant challenges for building contractors. How to find qualified painters, glazers, and drywall finishers. IUPAT knows what you want. A professional job performed by skilled workers who care about safety, training, and finishing strong. Workers who are reliable and ready on demand. Let IUPAT provide the people power that you need. You'll feel confident the job is finished right. Connect at IUPATDC7.com and finish strong.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Looking for a job worth talking about? Teaching is creative, collaborative, and intellectually challenging. See why teachers have better work stories at teachdfw.org and learn more about becoming a teacher. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
We got Mark Pocan live via phone. Mark, does Paul Ryan hate poor people?
Oh, he hates poor people and middle-class people. I mean, I think when he was probably 5 years old playing with Play-Doh, trying to, adjust the taxes on Play-Doh. So, to be fair, I think he's doing what he always said he was going to do. It's just no one actually believed he was either that cruel, evil, or dumb to do it.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
The Devil's Advocates, because freedom.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Last segment of the day. Damn, time flies when you're having fun. You can join us on the phones or you can text us in at 844-967-2789.
I make you do most of the Googling around here because I, quite frankly, think it's beneath me.
Is that what it is?
I'm too big to Google.
You got big thumbs.
I have people for Googling.
Crudy, we briefly talked about the president's personal attorney, Jay Sekulow, and we have some sound, but I want to set it up using a Slate piece. Saw this today, authored by Daniel Politi. Bear with me for a moment, if you will. Here's what Slate writes. Who can forget that fateful Sunday in January of 2017? President Donald Trump had just been inaugurated, and we were all so innocent. Sure, we were scared about the future, but little did we know how much members of the White House could flat out lie to the public with a straight face. It was this innocence that perhaps contributed to the shock and surprise when Kellyanne Conway went on NBC's Meet the Press and told a baffled Chuck Todd that the White House press secretary wasn't lying when he lied about crowd numbers at the inauguration. Instead, he was presenting alternative facts. Those two words rocketed the political sphere and have now become shorthand to referring to the White House's seemingly alternative version of reality. But now, Trump's lawyer seems to have come up with a new version of the infamous phase. On ABC's Meet the Press, George Stephanopoulos asked lawyer Jay Sekulow to explain just why he changed his story so frequently about what Trump knew and when he knew it regarding the 2016 Trump Tower meeting. Sekulow denied the president was involved in crafting his son's response to reports about the meeting, which later proved to be a lie. Why did you deny President Trump's involvement? Stephanopoulos asked. When did you learn that the denial wasn't true? So that's the setup. Jay Sekulow responds. We have some sound. Let's play it for the people. Cut number 79. If you would, please, Fancy Brian.
Well, let me tell you two things on that one. Number one is, George, I was in the case at that point, a couple of weeks, and there was a lot of information that was gathering. And as my colleague Rudy Giuliani said, I had bad information at that time. I made a mistake in my statement. I've talked about that before. That happens when you have cases like this. As far as when did we correct it, the important part is the information that we've shared with the Office of Special Counsel. I'm not going to get into the details, but we were very clear as to the situation involving that trip and the statements that were made to the New York Times. So I think it's very important to point out that in a situation like this, you have, over time, facts develop. That's what investigations do.
You have, over time, facts develop. That's what investigations do. And Slate wraps it up saying, it is perhaps a sign of the time. Stephanopoulos didn't even seem to flinch at the words, over time, facts develop. But certainly, Curdy, that caught my ear. A couple of things. I don't think facts develop. The facts are the facts. Whether or not they are shared or known may be the question. So the question is, who gave Sekulow the bad information? Did Trump give him the bad information? Did he just...
Who ordered the code red?
You're damn right I did. Where did this information come from? Well, presumably it came from the president. Either that or the attorney was acting all on his own. What say you, Michael?
I was distracted.
You were distracted. Let's hear more, Jay Sekulow, about the investigation, the irregularities, heaven forbid, cut 80.
The idea that this has been going on now for well over a year, let's be honest with the American people, there are irregularities in this investigation, the likes of which we have not seen.
Nobody's ever seen irregularities like this. The biggest irregularities of all time. What's he talking about? Let's play the next one.
There has been no evidence put forward by anyone at this point that we've seen, and we've seen 1.4 million documents. We provided 32 witness interviews of any type of collusion on behalf of the president and the Russians. You know what we have seen, though? One of the most irregular investigations in U.S. history.
No evidence. I mean, he's responding after Trump tweeted out that his son did, in fact, meet with the Russians to get dirt on Hillary. If that's not evidence, what is? But here's a familiar fallback.
We got plenty of evidence of Trump Jr. colluding, right? That's not in question anymore, is it?
Let's do cut 82.
What is the violation, or what violation has anybody put forward of an actual federal statute that's been violated by the President of the United States? And we've yet to see, and as I said, we've seen an awful lot of evidence.
So I guess perhaps because Trump continues to say he didn't know about the collusion meeting, which could be conspiracy, but then he goes on to tweet today that the real collusion, which he claims is not wrong and is totally normal in defending his son and his campaign's actions, the real collusion was done by the Hillary Clinton campaign. That was the real collusion. That should be investigated. But again, I say, why would there be an investigation if you say there's collusion is not a crime? Let's continue. Sokolow on George Stephanopoulos yesterday.
I had bad information at that time. I made a mistake in my statement. I've talked about that before. That happens when you have cases like this.
Yeah, I had bad information. And again, I would ask, Jay, where did you get the bad information? I mean, that should be a logical follow-up, I think, from Stephanopoulos. Where did you get the information from, Sokolow?
Now, I don't represent Don Jr., but I will tell you I have no knowledge at all of Don Jr. being told that he's a target of any investigation, and I have no knowledge of him being interviewed by the special counsel.
I'm pretty sure Jr. was Googling today how to know if you're a target of a federal investigation.
I mean, that sounds a lot like the Scott Walker John Doe 2 defense. Yeah, I might be subject number one, but I'm not a target of the investigation per se.
What happens if Trump gets subpoenaed? To kind of get into some of the legal issues regarding this case, let's hear cut 85.
President may decide at the end he's going to not take his lawyer's advice. I mean, that's up to him at the end of the day. He's the president. He gets to make that decision. We're going to give our advice.
Yeah, he's going to give her advice. Yes, I will lie for you. Or please, yes, tell me what you want me to say, and then I'll go out there and say it. Where's the independent legal advice, Mr. Sokolow? Is there a need for the president's testimony? I wonder that myself.
32 witnesses, 1.4 million documents from the White House. It's hard-pressed to see why they need the president's testimony. Why is the president's testimony needed here? That's the key.
Because they're trying to prove intent. If you can prove intent of obstruction of justice, the game's over. And you are seeking whether or not there is intent. You need to know his mindset, and certainly he has demonstrated intent through his tweeting and his his journalistic ramblings with Lester Holt.
I said to myself, this whole Russia thing, it's a big hoax. Yeah, he said it. That's one. Let's keep going. Here we go to the subpoenas, cut 87.
If you get a subpoena, you file what's called a motion to quash. That will be argued at the district court. Then it would go to the Court of Appeals. Then it would go to the Supreme Court of the United States. From the Supreme Court of the United States, it goes back down to the lower courts again.
This Russia thing.
See, he can show up and tell the truth and not put himself in further legal jeopardy.
Dom, I've got to make a confession right now. I'm a lot tired and a little sad.
What? Fucker bash!
I know. God, bless it.
Wow.
I tell you what.
We got 3 hours tomorrow.
A
couple hours earlier tonight, Krute.
I got lots of homework, unfortunately. I got to keep plugging away at the business of being the super greatest radio show ever. We appreciate you listening right here on Resistance Radio. Do it again tomorrow, and then the day after that, the day after that, the day after that, and then it's the weekend again. See you tomorrow.
So you gotta let me know. Should I stay or should I go?
I had bad information at that time. I made a mistake in my statement.
I'm not in the job of having evidence. That's what investigations are for.
I'm not an expert on the facts yet. I'm getting there.
Over time, facts develop. That's what investigations do.
Those are f***ing fighting.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call the number on a for sale sign?
Great questions. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you a home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner at no cost to you.
Well, with interest